What's up, everyone? Kawaii Crew here, and welcome to episode, I believe, 43 or 44 of the Weebs of the Roundtable podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about our mid-season impressions of the winter 2024 season. So joining me right here is Oliver Smiley, returning after so long, a long time. Queen Deja and Anapo Review. Memory might join us later. He is running late as of right now, but we'll see. But yeah, other than that, without further ado, let's get to it. So, the first anime on the list is a very popular show that a lot of people like for some reason. I am talking about Solo Leveling, a Korean webtoon adaptation. So, what do you guys think about Solo Leveling?
Not watching it.
Yeah, I know.
Episode 1 should have been an hour long.
Yeah, like I think it's fine actually. It's not like usually with these overhyped shows, you kind of have low expectations. But for me, it's actually been a little bit more enjoyable than I expect, to be honest. Because there is a story that's easy to understand. There is character development on the main character, and so yeah. But the thing that I guess don't think is a little bit worse with the show is that it's kind of predictable. I don't think it has like the uniqueness of what would make it so hyped as it is, because it's very clear. You know what's gonna happen. You know where the character development is gonna come. You know what's gonna happen with the enemies, etc. So with that, I can say it's not something unique, but I mean, it's not bad in any way. I can see why people like it, and for now, I'm watching it to see how it turns out. So I guess that sums up my thoughts.
We're about halfway through the season, right? So it's up to what, episode 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Queen, you watching this?
Yes.
All right. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think of Solo Leveling?
It's good. Like I said, the first episode should have at least been an hour long. I did talk to a friend while I was at work one day, and he and I were just discussing everything. He thought everything was good, but we ultimately just was episode 1 and 2 should have been together just to make it a little bit better. That's just me. But, I mean, overall, I liked it. It gave me my gore, my bloodiness. That's all I really needed at the end of the day. But, yeah, still good. Underrated.
What about your handsome men, though?
We all know that's going to be Deja's favorite aspect of the show. Let's be real, Deja. Tell the truth.
I mean, yes, it gave me my plot that I needed every single week. I mean, yes, that was the other reason why I watched the show. I mean, duh, because my subs know me and just, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, also, I'm sure, also for the dudes as well, you got the blonde girl with the cake, so you got a little bit something there for everyone, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm not watching this, but I know it's really, from what I heard, it's a really popular webtoon novel series. And
well, it's beyond that. It's gone. I think according to the people who've read the manga, manga. How do you say it?
I think
manhwa.
I think it's a webtoon,
yeah.
or a Korean.
Manhwa. Yeah,
manhwa,
according to them, it's legendary status, I think. So, I don't know about that though.
Yeah, I also heard it's a very the plot is kind of simplistic as well, because it's a lot of people describe it as a power fantasy type of show. Of course, I'm not sure how true that is, but I think, to be honest, just kind of based on that synopsis, I wasn't really interested, but apparently a lot of people like it. Also, apparently the fight scenes and the action is really hype.
Actually, the fight scenes are very well animated, I think. So I got it. Also, the OSTs actually fit very well. So that the animation part of it is actually a big plus. I don't know if I would enjoyed it as much if it wasn't for the production of it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, I think that's pretty much it. All right,
Yeah.
these discussions are going to be short without memory because we're not
All right.
we're not caught
Yeah.
up, and we are
Yeah.
not watching a lot. So, but we're gonna do the best we can. In fact, I mean,
Yeah.
shorter podcast is not too bad. I mean, are you guys ready to move on?
Sure,
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
All right, next up on the list. I don't know if you guys are watching this as well.
I haven't seen it.
but
I
next
have
up-
not seen any of it.
Yeah. Next up is
Me
Classroom of
neither.
the
I
Elite
am gonna watch
season.
it.
Next up
Yeah,
is Classroom
I'm-
of the Elite season 3.
Yeah, I'm watching it, but I'm not enjoying it. I didn't enjoy season 2 either, actually. I did enjoy the beginning of season 1, actually, because I thought it was like interesting, you know, how they have to have the points, etc.
Well,
But I think
I don't know
I feel-
a single thing about
I
it
literally know
because
nothing.
the thing is, I'm on season 3, and I still don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't
Right
blame
now,
you.
the story.
But isn't okay? So I take it it's based around the classroom. There are a bunch of like elite students. I take it,
Right.
and what they have to get us like they can be expelled if they don't if they fail an exam or something like that.
There are
Yeah,
different rules. I don't know the
Yeah.
details, unfortunately. But it's kind
it
of like
like-
what you say. It's like different classes. So like the best ones are in class A, and the worst are in class E. And I'm not sure if you can like transfer class in certain reasons. Maybe I'm not sure, but
Is it is there like blood and gore in it or
No.
no, not really. No.
So like the
So
whole,
not like
I think.
assassination classroom.
No, like I think the
Okay.
whole point of the show is supposed to be like a mystery, and it is a mystery because I have absolutely no idea what's going on. But that's also why I'm not enjoying this one as much. And also, also the production is. I've heard it's been very rushed, and I guess I can see that also in the anime. Maybe that's why I'm not enjoying it so much. But also, you know, you guys remember in season 2 when we had that picture of when they were running the marathon or whatever, and someone
Yeah.
was
I
standing
think
on
I
top
saw
of the
that.
others.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did see that.
So the animation
I-
issues too. Now, one episode that I actually did like a bit was the whole backstory of the girl who was stealing that hairpin or whatever at the store.
Oh,
That was actually
really?
that was actually very heavy for me. Not so much her, but her little sister who was so happy to get it, and then the mom woke up from her coma or whatever and found out she was stealing. They had to go back to the store, and the little sister cried too. That actually got to me. But as a story as a whole, it's been, I don't know what's going on. I'm not enjoying it. I don't know why certain people hype this one up so much, because for me it's like I'm not seeing the hype. I'm not seeing what's so good about this one, to be honest. I'm not enjoying it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Man, I wish Mad Lad were here because it would be much more fun to talk about this show with him. But overall, my thoughts on season 3, I mean, to be honest, I do kind of agree with Annapol on one aspect. It gets very convoluted at times, and in fact, there are times where I barely know what's going on, to be quite honest. And as compared to season 2, so far it's not better than season 2, I would say. In fact, there has been quite a few complaints regarding the adaptation. Apparently, from source material readers, the adaptation is pretty rushed, and I can kind of see that as well, because there are times where it focuses on characters, like they expect you to know who they are or like, expect you to care for them, but we don't have much build up to that character. Like they just introduce these side characters out of nowhere.
So
Yeah.
the character, like a character
Yeah.
that shows up and it's like, here's a character, and like, all right, who are they?
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
pretty much. Also, regarding Aura's question, why is hype so much? I'm guessing it's pretty much because like this. I think it's mainly because of Ayano Koji, because like he's like he's the quiet kid, but he's also like the mastermind behind a lot of these things, because a lot of these tests do risk like expulsion. So he's constantly like formulating plans, and so in order to ensure the safety of his class, he's constantly helping out other students, all while trying to like play these mind games and get the upper hand on a lot of these other antagonists who are also like very cunning and conniving and manipulative. So I think it's really just based on like the psychological aspect and the mystery of it, which is definitely present in season 3, but I wouldn't say it's as good in season 3 as the previous 2 seasons. What else was I about to say? I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that I think it's a lot of stuff here that anime onlys would enjoy. But like I say, it's not adapted as well as say the other 2 seasons. I will say though, I mean, I gotta say it. I gotta say it since even though Mad Lad isn't here, my girl Suzume, I mean, she's been doing great in this season as well, as we see in the latest episode with her getting Haruki expelled, which was great. And of course, we got some great Kei and Anakoji chemistry as well, which, the Kei and Anakoji shippers, Kyo-Kei as they're called, that they're eating good with this season at least. What else? Oh yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Anapo. It's funny that you mentioned that that Ichinose's backstory was the thing that you liked, because I'm actually not a fan of her backstory. Because it's like, okay, first of all, the hairpin is like $200 and the equivalent of $200 in US money. And second of all, the mom is like overworking herself to the point of passing out from exhaustion just so she's able to buy this hair clip. Like, yeah, okay, I get that. She wants to make her child happy. It's really the only thing that the little girl wants in her life. But on the other hand, it's like, what sane parent would rather overwork themselves instead of telling their child to come to their senses? I mean, it's $200 for a hair clip. I mean, in a few months, she's probably gonna she's gonna end up losing it, or she's gonna end up in the closet somewhere. And she's gonna move on to other interests.
Yeah.
So it's like, the hell?
That's kind of what makes it even more sad now when you think about it, and how she's overworking it, and it's gonna be forgotten in one way or another in the future. But like for me, the sad thing was more like when they had to go and give it back, and the little sister was so happy she had it, but then she had to also see the devastation, and she also cried. That's what got to me.
I guess I can understand that.
It honestly doesn't sound like a show I would honestly enjoy. That's why when this first season aired, like I was just like, oh, okay. Whatever.
I mean, it started interesting, but after a while, it just felt all over the place. The story, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I don't even know why I'm watching it anymore. But I'm just watching it.
Yeah, I understand that this is not gonna be the type of show for everybody. It's like, unless you really, it's like the type of show where like, unless you really pay attention to things, and like unless you really like understand what's going on, like you're probably not going to enjoy the show. Like, it's not the type of show where you can expect like, a lot of flashy fight scenes or a lot of crazy plot twists and turns, even though there are some in there. But yeah, it's kind of an acquired taste of a show. So but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Classroom of the Year. Like I said, I really wish Mad Lad was here, because I know he's been waiting to cook me on some of my takes with this show.
He's probably gonna watch this one later on.
Oh yeah, he probably will watch this.
Yeah, he's gonna watch it. He's gonna start fuming. He's gonna start clenching his fists probably. But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Yay, just one that I can actually talk about.
A show that Oliver's actually watching. Next up on the list is Delicious in Dungeon. This is another show that I've heard a lot of good things about, but I am not watching.
You can
So-
start actually, Oliver, on this one.
Well,
since
because I was actually reading the manga first, which I've not finished. So even though the manga is done, I'm hoping that they actually do adapt the entire story. But so far, I think they're doing a really good job. Like the animation is pretty solid overall. The voice acting is also pretty damn solid. Everyone sounds like they're, I guess, supposed to, if that makes sense. There's a bit of a. What's great is that there's also a bit of a mystery there. Sort of, it's like and because it's got an interesting concept. It's like Delicious in Dungeon. Okay, what's it about? Obviously, they go into a dungeon and they start eating the monsters. So and the creatures inside it. So it's just like it's great. But who else is watching it?
I'm watching it too. So I think overall it's enjoyable too. It's very good production wise, and I think also the story is kind of unique. How you can make these dungeon monsters actually look, most of the time they actually look like real food, which I
Yeah.
think is very interesting. And the fact that the author actually put effort into making like cooking lessons of monsters. How you do this, this, and that. This is actually very interesting. And I guess it's also kind of interesting to see them going further down dungeon to save their friend. I guess one criticism I have, and that is, I know it's part of the story, but I guess the whole cooking part sometimes can get a bit repetitive. But it's
Well,
it's
yeah,
as the
as you
story
said,
is.
that's essentially the main plot of the story is
Right,
them
right.
because they don't have supplies.
Yeah.
Because of what happened in the first episode. So the only way that they're going to survive by going down further and further into the dungeon is to cook
Right.
the creatures and monsters that they come across. So, and there's definitely a lot of unique creatures
Yes.
in the dungeon.
Exactly. Now I have another reactor friend actually who dropped this, and if I understood it correctly, it was because, it wasn't exactly how we expected after watching the trailer. I think he felt also like it was a bit too repetitive, but he also said like, and it's kind of funny actually that. How they're saving their friend from being eaten by they've actually been eaten, but the digestion takes a lot of time on the dragon, if I understand it correctly. And he was like, well, shouldn't they be in a hurry? They just stop everywhere to just cook and eat food, and she's still in the stomach on the bottom floor. That's something that he felt.
Yeah, I can't say much because it's 24 episodes, so
Yeah.
they're taking
They
their time with it.
did
but it's
say
just
that the
good.
digestive system was taking a long time on the dragon too, so it
Well, they
makes
did
sense.
also. Well, that's the thing. If I hate to tell this guy off, but if he was actually paying attention, they actually did say there's a reason for that. Is because one, the dragon doesn't appear goes to sleep for a long time.
That's something I missed too, actually.
And yeah, the dragon sleeps for years and years and years, and then wakes up every 50 to 100 years, gets some food, goes back to sleep again. And they say for that reason, it takes ages for the digestive system to do its thing because it's asleep. So
Okay.
that's pretty much what they said in one of the earlier episodes. So that's why they were like that. Yes, they are still in a rush, but you have to remember this dungeon has a lot of flaws, and pretty much they need to essentially reach I think they're on mind you, I'm 2 episodes behind, but I think they're on floor, what is it, 7 or 8 now, and I think they essentially need to reach the bottom of the dungeon to reach the dragon. So going to take a while, in other words. So I get what he's saying, but you really need to pay attention. I know it's a weird thing to say, but with this show, you really actually need to pay attention.
Okay. But my mind was
because
mostly focused on the cooking, so I guess all the
yeah,
other important
because
stuff.
the cooking is one element of the show, and it's one of the major reasons of the show, obviously, because it's delicious and dungeon. But yeah, the other aspect of the show is slowly actually being introduced because, yeah, this dungeon is not what it seems. It can, and we've already been introduced to, well, kind of introduced to this important character in the episode in which they have the living portraits. Yeah, that what's his name again? I can see him in my head. The court jester character, that appeared in the portraits, who essentially came up to Laos and was like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah, there's a reason for that. So just all I'm going to say is like keep watching it. Be mindful of this is not just your normal cooking show like Food Wars. So yeah, I honestly do think this might actually be a bit controversial, but I do, even though I've only seen 6 episodes so far, I do honestly think the manga is better.
Oh,
That's usually how it is, right?
The manga, like, I do feel, like, as much as I said like the animation is solid and all that, I do think they have skipped over a few things, unfortunately, which is kind of normal for adaptions, I guess. But yeah, if you look at the minor list, compare the anime rating to the manga, the anime rating is currently on a 7.76, while the manga is 8.54.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a bit of a difference. I mean, it's still quite high for being the anime still, but
to be fair, also is that we haven't really gotten that far into the main plot yet. So once the main plot actually takes off, which is them actually reaching the dragon, and that's all I will say, because at the moment it's just like, oh, they're going to go try and save their friend slash sister. No, there's a lot more going on.
all right. I mean, that makes sense then why they have cooking for the most part of season 1, because it's kind of like the introduction then maybe. Now, if I understand you correctly, with the dragon, it's still there for 100 years, it's just sleeping, or is it like disappearing?
Pretty much, yeah. It's at the bottom of the dungeon, and it only reappears, like comes out, like 50 to 100 years, because it's pretty much like goes and finds something to eat, goes back, sleeps, then rinse and repeat.
Basically, what they're trying to do here now is to reach the part where the dragon is before it goes out. So that's
before it goes back out, and before the digestion actually.
All right, because I was kind of misunderstanding you, like it disappears out of thin air for 100 years.
No.
They're gonna be there for 100 years eating food, and then they're gonna save their friend.
Yeah,
but that's not how it is. All right, that makes more sense now, actually. And, they have a time, so, good thing.
Yeah, there is a time limit of which they have to get down to the bottom. But as I said, there's a lot of layers to the dungeon that they have to go down first before they can reach the dragon. And that's when I think, honestly, the mouse score on the anime is going to go up a little bit, because it's when because technically the main story hasn't happened yet. It's building up, but it hasn't happened yet. So once that main hook comes in, that's when things are going to change, and people are either going to go, oh shit, this is actually really good, or they'll go the opposite and be like, well, that's pretty repetitive and the same as every other anime ever, but we'll see what happens.
But still
But
nice with some variation.
I personally like the manga, and I'm really enjoying the anime adaptation so far. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with it, obviously, and see how far they get into the story, adaptation-wise, and hopefully they will announce a second season and adapt all of it. And we also have to remember that this is Netflix, so I currently, in terms of Netflix and their adaptions, they haven't really been that great. So
Like, still gotta say, this is actually one of the better. Like
this is one of the better
overall,
ones.
I think that Netflix has improved with their adaptations, but we also could see like My Happy Marriage, for example. That was also a very good example, at least production wise. And also one thing that I think Netflix is doing a lot better now than what they did before is to actually put out the episodes on time. They actually start doing it now. Before it was like 2 weeks delay, but lately they've been much better at it, and I think maybe they have listened to people like,
And also that originally weren't they also like releasing all the episodes at once?
Yeah, so like sometimes I remember, for example, I think that was the case with Beastars, for example, that they didn't release it internationally, at least on Netflix, until I think season 2 was in winter in 2021, and they released it in summer, all the episodes of 2021. And that's actually one of the reasons why I still have not completed season 2 of Beastars, because then the hype is over and I'm already too focused on other seasonal shows, so it's still on pause for me for that reason. But it's good that Netflix is actually improving on that, so I gotta give them a plus for that.
And the other thing I have to actually quickly say, which I really like about Delicious in Dungeon, is the soundtrack. Soundtrack is dope, honestly, and considering the fact that the opening theme and the ED theme, at least the first ED is done by Bump of Chicken. And if you have seen what's it called? They've done mind you, Bump of Chicken have done like a lot of shows, but
I know they did Spy Family.
They did Spy Family. They did what am I blanking on? I've watched the first season of it.
What's
that one about Shogeki? Shogi. What am I blanking on it? Shogi. I can't think of it.
I don't know.
It's from a couple of years ago, like more than a couple of years ago, actually. I've got it on my computer still. Fuikatsu no Lion, that's it.
Oh, that
Fuikatsu
one.
no Lion.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't seen that one, actually.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, they did Bump of Chicken also do the OP for that one as well. So, yeah. I honestly really like Bump of Chicken. I think they do a really good job in terms of soundtracks.
Yeah,
so.
They're very good. I agree.
And each
also
one
the
of their
OSTs
OPs are
actually. Yeah, also the OSTs actually are very good, I think. So yeah. I don't know who makes the OSTs though. Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Sure. I don't have anything to ask. Does any one of you watch it or?
I haven't watched it.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So I guess we're ready to move on. So next up on the list is, oh my God, easily one of my favorite shows this season, A Sign of Affection. Oh,
I'm not watching the anime, but I have read a few chapters of the manga.
All right. That's good enough for discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not watching the anime of it, but I've watched
time.
Yeah, I'm just double checking here. Yeah, I've read 4 volumes of the manga.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
nice.
When you do have time, watch the anime.
Watch the anime, yes.
Actually, I think Queen Dija can start on this one because I don't think she has started yet. So
yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it's a good series. As a sucker for romance, it's just really good. I don't like Emma. At first, I did until just like the situation.
Me too.
It's like, okay, it's a triangle. It's a love triangle now, and it's really awkward. Just anytime when she tries to like scoot her way into, I think it's Isasami. That's how you say his name, I think.
Itsuomi.
And She's trying, and as a girl who's like, I do the same shit. She tries a little too hard. She is a little clingy to me, and she doesn't know when to honestly like stop. So it gets super.
Yeah, I found her kind of annoying in the manga as well. I'm not going to lie.
Oh.
Yeah, she is definitely one of those clingy types. She's pretty,
Very
but
super clingy, and she doesn't really understand like, oh, am I overdoing it? And I wish like someone would tell her. Now, I think the guy who does like he's a hairstylist. If he will say something, then I'm cool with that. But somebody needs to tell her. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember where I really got up to in the manga, so I don't know where exactly in the anime we're up to either. So yeah, not of much help.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why people dislike her, but to be honest, for me, I don't hate her. In fact, I kind of feel bad for her because, like, she is obviously Itsuomi has no interest in her whatsoever. Yeah. It's all about him. Obvious. Yeah, it's all about him and Yuki, and every time that she wants to make her feelings known, Itsuomi just brushes her off. She just pushes her away. It's like she has absolutely no chance. And like I don't know. Also I understand her purpose in the story. Like it's to show how Itsuomi treats other girls compared to Yuki, because with Yuki you obviously tell, okay, like, yes, this is how Itsuomi acts like when he is actually into a girl, as opposed to Emma when he has no interest in a girl. So I understand her purpose in that, but I like I said, I do understand why other people may not like her. But yeah, what else do you guys think?
Well, does Queen Dita have anything else to add, because she was still talking?
Oh yeah.
Yuki's best girl. That's all.
Facts.
Fair enough. I agree with that.
All right, should I go then, maybe? So usually, and I said this before, that I usually am not a fan of the romance shows where the girl falls for the coolest guys. That's never been my thing. The difference here is that I honestly think the main guy, I forgot the names, but the main guy, he's actually a really good guy to her, and it makes it a lot more...
The friend character, Oshi.
The friend. We hate him.
Oh,
no, he has red flag.
No. Oh, not him.
No, I'm talking
about the guy.
I'm talking about Itsumi.
Itsumi.
He's a really good guy, and that's what makes it so different this time. That he's just not cool. He's actually trying to get invested in her life, and trying to learn the sign language, showing her a new world. With all his traveling, even told her like, you should get a passport. We can travel together. So he's like the perfect boyfriend, if I'm gonna be honest. And one thing that I said that I thought was off with this show was more like the character style, because of the lips.
The lips.
On him.
Yeah, I actually do agree with that. I think the manga, like, it's not an issue in the manga. That's the thing. It seems to be just an issue of the anime. Of like, I don't know why they decided to do that. Because I don't recall that being an issue in the manga at all. So. Yeah, I don't know what who's doing this actually. Ajadu? Is that how you say it? Studio?
Ajadu. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Ajadu. Yeah, I don't know why they've done that. That has confused me.
Yeah, it sucks because I feel like
it
sucks because I feel like the show would probably be a bit more popular if it weren't for the lips.
Yeah. Also, where was I? So yeah, he's a good guy. That's why I really enjoy it, and it's quite wholesome actually. And well, what you mentioned before, I have to go back on my anime list now again to check the names. But Emma, yeah, I don't like her, just as Quindy just said, and so I don't have much else to add to that. But also her childhood friends. It's like usually I cheer for the childhood friend because they know her better and are like they should be together, not the cool guy that just came into the life and stole her. That's usually what I feel. But in this case, I'm like, you're trying too hard. You just, you're just being up in her space too much, and you're trying to be like a dad to her, pretty much. So, get out of there.
With Oshi, like it feels like he, as you said, like he's got like almost like a dad complex about it to Yuki, and it just comes off as bizarre. Like it just in a way like that. When I was reading the manga, like even I was like, this doesn't really work because it's like, are you trying to be the childhood friend who has a crush on on her sort of thing, or what are you doing? Like it doesn't seem hasn't been really thought through by the mangaka about like, let's do like a love triangle thing, but I haven't really thought of one actually doing with this character, so we'll just wing it.
Actually, one thing I wish they would do, because I've seen it in other mangas before, for example, Ranma, which is an old one.
I know
Ranma. So like, let's say that he has his feelings for her, but let's say later in the I don't know what's gonna happen, but
I don't really know
later in the show, maybe some new girl shows up that falls in love with him, and he slowly tries to get more interested in her. I would welcome that. That would be so wholesome. I love that. Well, for Emma, I would say probably the guy that Emma usually goes out to drink with whenever she feels like.
Oh yes, I do.
I would ship them probably.
Yes.
They understand each other much more.
That makes sense.
But overall, actually, I'm enjoying. I think I have this on like number 2, number 3 on my own top 10 at the moment, because like I enjoyed this way more than I thought I was going to. With the fact that I don't usually like this kind of story, this is actually very, very wholesome, and I think the main reason is because of how the main guy is, how he's so invested in her. That's just so wholesome.
And the other character I think that does a really good job in this show, like that makes it more believable, is the friendship between Yuki and Rin.
Oh yes.
And there's another shit going on there. I
Rin
think.
and Kyoa,
there is.
Rooting for them as well.
Yes.
When I was reading the manga, I really enjoyed Rin as a character. I thought she just worked really well, like with friends with Yuki, and then, she's like, because she's supporting them 100%, unlike Ushi. So there's that. So I think I will probably check out the anime of this down the track when I have watched a few other things I want to get to. And see how it can, see what I can actually remember from reading the manga. Because, I think this is probably still a very wholesome show. And the other thing I should probably bring to everyone's attention is that Yuki is now the second only character, I think, and forgive me if I'm wrong about this, in existence in anime at the very least.
Who's deaf?
Who's deaf, Yep. Because...
we got the other movie one from Cure.
We've got a silent voice. We've got the one from the silent voice, which is a mixed bag. I know some people go, this movie is awful.
Someone right there. I think.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's something I thought about too. Like we have these two, and they're like the opposites from each other. So like, if we look at the what was the movie called again?
The Silent Voice.
Silent Voice.
Yeah, so that one is like super depressive and such and sad. This one is just happy and wholesome. That's something that I noticed. Now, one thing also that I'm kind of wondering about, and I don't know even why I'm even thinking about this, because Yuki, she's 19. Why does she have a curfew? That's actually something that I have been thinking about.
You know what?
I know in
can't
Japan
remember either.
that adult is like 20 years old, but still 19 years old and
I'm guessing it's
curfew.
because of her condition, right? Because she's
Yeah,
deaf.
it's probably because she's deaf. Yeah.
Could be that too. Yeah.
To be fair, they don't really, at least from what I remember anyway, they don't really go, at least where I got up to in the manga, they don't really go into that so much. Like they've brought up, well, obviously they talked about how she's got a curfew, but they haven't brought up why she has a curfew. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
later on in the manga it is brought up of like, hey, why do you have a curfew, by the way?
Yeah. I mean, it could be as you say, but at the same time, she is still 19, so she, she shouldn't have the curfew. But that's, I guess, I shouldn't think about that too much.
Any other final thoughts on
No, it's
Sign
wholesome.
of Affection?
Yeah.
Okay. As for me, this, as I said before, this is easily one of my favorite. This is already one of my favorite shows this season. I knew, like, pretty much from the very first episode, like, as soon as I saw that one scene in episode 1 with Yuki celebrating to Itsuomi's text by throwing the umbrella and then waving her hands around, I'm like, oh my god, she is so fucking cute. I am already hooked. I fell in love with the show right then and there. And for me, it was pretty much uphill from there. First of all, as we already mentioned before, Yuki is absolutely fucking adorable. Easily one of the best girls this season. This show did a really good job at like just making her cute, because you see a lot of the artistic liberties and like you see a lot of like the style, like, and like all these like adorable little chibi moments they have going on with her, just
I
doing
just
all they
remembered
can.
something actually. I just remembered something because this was brought up in the manga. Well, you know how in manga you sometimes have the author do like little like notes and stuff at the end of the chapters, like explaining stuff. With a Sign of Affection, this guy went the extra mile. Like he found people who were deaf and did interviews with them. He found like a consultant and like spoke to them about it as well, about how like does like how do you do the sign language, how you do like he just went 100% into this. So that's why it's so good, and that's why I think it's probably superior to Silent Voice, because I don't think the mangaka for Silent Voice actually did any research.
Yeah, they don't really go into that as much in the Silent Voice.
Yeah, but yeah, I just remembered that fact just then because I remember reading those notes in the manga. So yeah, just a little bit of trivia for you.
Oh yeah, that's definitely really interesting. Also, I love the chemistry Yuki has between her and Itsuomi, of course. I love the way their relationship is progressing. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are caught up or saw the latest episode, but yeah,
that's the only episode I didn't watch yet, but I saw pictures of the kiss.
Yes,
so, yeah, I know
the kiss on episode, I believe 7. That's when it happened. I love how the relationship is moving pretty fast, I must say, but I don't mind it one bit. I mean, like, I always prefer something like this over the alternative where it takes like 3 fucking seasons for it to reach.
The relationship just keeps doesn't progress, and
exactly.
Going.
That's something we gotta give to the guy over here, that he's very good at taking the lead here, also in the relationship. I think.
Speaking of which,
take it to the next step.
Yeah.
In the right time.
Speaking of which, one thing I also like, I don't see a lot of other people talking about this. But one thing I also love about this show is the fact that not only is this like a romance anime centered around adults, but it's centered around adults that actually know how to like communicate properly and are actually like mature about things. And that's just not something that you see in anime, because a lot of rom-coms, romance anime, you see a lot of these stupid miscommunications, a lot of stupid misunderstandings that happen because the characters just don't know how to communicate with each other
They
properly.
actually clear things up in this
Exactly.
anime. Like, for example, when she was wondering about Emma being there, he actually explained that this is how it is, So that was very good of him.
Oh, gamer, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like that's not something you really see a lot in other animes. So yeah, I really gotta give props to the show for that. Also, as we touched on, Rin and Kyowa, I'm also rooting for them as well. I also think they have some really great chemistry as well. Also, yeah, and I know you guys don't like Emma and Oshi, but like I don't know. It's like I just can't bring myself to really despise any of the characters because I kind of understand their purpose in the story, and I understand like why they are like the way they are. I mean, I understand that Oshi, like he's known Emma since childhood, so like he's really gotten like this really huge attachment to her. So I understand why he can be sometimes overprotective and all that. I mean, but yeah, at the same time, yeah, I understand why people don't like him. But yeah, if I can give any criticisms to the show, like as we touched on before, the lips. I mean, I'm still am a firm believer, despite how much I enjoy the show. I am still a firm believer that anime characters should not have detailed, shaped, realistic lips. It just looks weird. Also, I'm not like Itsuomi. I know he can. It's kind of like his personality. I know it's not really that big of an issue to some, but Itsuomi can get pretty like hands-on and touchy when it comes to Yuki.
I get that.
Yeah, I understand. Like it's not like a deal breaker for me. It's not something that's gonna drive my score down for this series. But like it's not. But at the same time, there are some times where I'm like, okay, you can probably.
Yeah, I get that. I think in his defense, though, like he won't go too far. Like the hands-on touchy-feely thing is bad, but when like Yuki's like says like no or gets uncomfortable, he backs off and like pretty much.
Yeah, I appreciate that at least.
He's so more used to this than maybe she is. So he's more of the touchy personality, but he does also see when to stop. So
yeah.
But I understand. I understand what you mean. But that's kind of what I said before. Also, that he's. I guess you could call him like he's like taking the lead very much in the relationship. Also, kind of take initiation to when to touch. I guess so. Yeah.
I feel like this is a good time to say, guys, if you're watching this, do not touch other people unless you're 100% sure they're okay with it.
Yeah. As long as they have given their consent, don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my thoughts on the sci-fi affection. I will be definitely looking forward to the rest of this series. Also, I will say though, like a lot of people are a bit like there's a lot of concern among some viewers because they think that there's gonna be some kind of huge drama going on because things are just getting a bit too wholesome and a bit too well. So I mean, maybe we'll see something like that happen in the future, but who knows? I mean,
you just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're just gonna wait and see. Also, there's a very interesting point that I've seen being brought up in the Reddit discussion threads. There are some people wondering how Itsuomi is able to afford all these trips on a bartender's salary. And that's something
that's the most unrealistic part of the show completely.
I mean, you have to wonder.
Nobody can afford that.
Yeah, you have to wonder, like, okay, is his parents rich? Is he taking a loan from the bank, or?
I'm pretty sure he's also a student as well. So, like, I think he's in university, if I remember correctly, or am I wrong about that?
No, he's still in school.
Yeah,
He's still in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
part-time bartender and then study. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
weird.
just no way he can do all this traveling on that budget.
especially when you're gone for like a month in like
I mean-
Cambodia. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
Unless he
Yeah.
saved up maybe somehow, or he won the lottery.
Well,
who
that's
knows?
true. Yeah, he could have saved up, but again, like he goes on several trips, like in the
Yeah.
space of a couple of months. So it's just like,
Mhm.
how much
And-
money
and-
do you actually have?
As I said, lottery. We got
Maybe.
the answer.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
Are
I
we
think
ready to
we're-
move on?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not watching the next couple.
All right, next up on the
so-
list is Chain Soldier, one of at
I'm
least.
not watching it.
You aren't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, this is like.
Damn.
Well, this is one of at least 3 ecchi shows this season. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Is it on the okay? All I'm going to ask in that case then is it on the same level as Gushing Over
Over
Magical
Mag-
Girls?
Yeah.
I can't
Is it
say.
on the is it
I,
on the same level as that in
Any
terms
of
of the
those,
ecchi?
so I cannot say.
to be honest, they are on very similar levels. They can get on very similar levels. I think.
Give
Although
me
I
a
think,
moment. I'm gonna like just add that to my plan to watch list.
but yeah, there's also an uncensored version as well, I believe.
Who cares about that?
But yeah, this and Gushing Over Magical Girls. I think Gushing Over Magical Girls. I think it beats this show out slightly, and that is because I did hear that some of the fan service material from the manga is like either cut short or is censored a bit. So yeah,
Oh, it's
in
got a
fact,
pretty bad score on IML list.
that's probably why. I mean, apparently the show did kind of butcher the source material.
Oh.
But I mean, as an anime only though, I'm still enjoying it. Although
Yeah,
I'm not,
I'll still check. I'll add it to my plan to watch list anyway and check it out
Yeah.
at some point.
of course,
Just for research purposes.
of course,
um,
cultural significance.
Yes, thank you. Cultural significance.
But yeah, as an anime only, I'm still enjoying this even though I'm not caught up with it. I mean, I do still enjoy the content, even though it may not be up to par with the source material. I mean, it's still good, entertaining for me at least. And so there's some pretty decent action as well. Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. Also, I mean, it kind of like it's like Gushing Over Magic Girls in that it does kind of go into fetish territory at times. So yeah, I think if for those of you who enjoy Gushing Over Magical Girls, I think they're probably gonna get a kick out of this as well. But yeah, other than that, I mean, like I said, I'm not all caught up with it, so I can't say much about the latest 3 episodes, I would say. But so far, yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I don't think there's really much else to say about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I put Chain Soldier on here because I think Memory's also watching this at least, so I was kind of hoping I would talk with him and maybe Mad Lad, but it is what it is.
Maybe in the end podcast.
Yeah, hopefully at the end
Yeah.
of the season podcast. DJ, you watching this?
Nope.
Okay. Next up on
Just flat out
the
no.
list is a show that I know a lot of other people are watching and hype for. The Dangers in My Heart season 2.
Yeah. I am watching it. It's actually my anime of the season right now. I actually have a 10 out of 10 right now.
Damn.
But in season 2, I realized that season 1 was actually the introduction. You can clearly see that now when you go into season 2 because season
this-
1 I quite enjoyed, although I thought, the characters, they were a little bit weird at the beginning, with her always liking snack and him being so short and it was just looking weird. But at the same time, I guess it is kind of the thing that I appreciate with the show. It actually does show a more realistic way how it is to be a teenager falling in love, and all the awkward moments that comes with that. So that's something I think they do very well. And the main guy that if you look at him in season 1, he was pretty much just to himself, just reading his murder books about murder cases, and he didn't care
As
about
you
romance.
do, as you do.
He didn't care about romance. I even think he said like, oh well, I have thoughts about killing her or something like that. If I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. But as you
Okay.
see the episodes go on, you see him slowly change, and he actually starts caring about her more. And now in season 2, you just see the romance just getting better and better, and he's like a completely new person in season 2. He's not having that kind of mindset that he has. It's actually the opposite. He cares about her. He listens to her. He got more friends now, and he's like a completely new person. That's something that I really appreciate with the show, and it's just wholesome. The animation is great. It's one of the absolute better romance shows that I've ever watched, at least for the last few years, actually, because it's just very wholesome, and yeah, I love it. I love it. It's so far season 2 has been flawless for me. So as I said, season 1 you can see now. That was the introduction. Season 2, it's when the real things happen, and I'm just enjoying the ride right now. Yeah.
Only on season 1, so thank you for saying things like that, because I've been questioning a lot of things. I still enjoy it though.
Yeah,
That's
the
all.
thing is that you should know, I think Memory actually dropped it, and then he picked it
Yeah,
back
he
up
picked it
again.
back. Yeah.
Okay.
And now I think he's enjoying it a lot more too, actually. But yeah, season 2 is completely different from season 1, actually. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all I can say about this show, actually. It's a short explanation, but it gets to the point that it's a good show.
Yeah, I'm not watching this, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I heard a lot of other people are really enjoying this. It's dominating the anime trending charts like pretty much every week. So there's
Yeah, it's
obviously
like this one versus solo leveling right now, and this one is always on first place before solo leveling.
So yeah, I know there's like this series has cultivated quite a large following. But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. Next up on the list is The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. Are you guys watching this show?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. I think. Well, I mean, yeah. The reason why I put this on here because I think Memory was also watching this, but unfortunately, he's still not here. So yeah. Next up on the list. Oh my fucking god.
Hokkaido Girls.
I think I've heard of this one, actually.
Yeah, he actually dropped it.
I'm just gonna let you, Animpode. I'm just gonna let you and DJ go first because.
Well, actually, I kind of understand what you mean. Actually, I wouldn't say either. Like, it's not one of the best romance shows I've seen, so I'm not gonna defend it or anyway. But I do see my enjoyment with this one. Actually, because I do like Fuyuki as a character. And also I really like Hokkaido. I think that's the main reason I'm watching it because Hokkaido. I've been to Hokkaido myself. It's beautiful, and just seeing Hokkaido in winter and seeing the romance in Hokkaido just gives this one an extra plus. So I think that's why I'm really enjoying this one. But I can see where you're coming from, especially when you talked about the main guy. Although I personally think, because I've seen you before drop shows just because of the main guy, but we don't watch it for the guy. But you do you, I guess. But I understand what you mean still. I guess for me, I have mixed feelings. Like, I do enjoy the romance, and I do enjoy Fuyuki as a character, and I do enjoy Hokkaido. But is it the best romance that, like, it's super wholesome? No. It's even random at parts. Like, I remember that part where she was making Valentine chocolate, and I think she tripped or something, and all the ingredients fell, and she was so devastated and crying at school, and everyone was like, oh, why do you not make your own chocolate? Why do you buy store-bought? But they don't know the story, and she cried. And my first thought would be, well, he should hug her or make her feel good or something like that. One thing he does is just randomly find a piano and start playing the piano out of nowhere. Which, I mean, it cheered her up, but, it was so random to me. I'm like, okay, where did the piano come from? But I guess still it made her happy.
Weren't they
I
in the
guess.
music room though?
They were, but I just thought it was so random. This is the only thing I can do for her. Let's play the piano. He could just have hugged
I
her.
get, I get that. I think it was mainly due to the fact is, okay, yeah, you're sad about the chocolate and everything, and the song that she was singing during karaoke, that was the
Yeah,
only thing he knew how to play. So he's just
yeah.
like, okay, let me make her happy by doing this, and it's
I get that.
sweet.
It's sweet, but it's
Absolutely,
so it was just random. That's
I
my
get
criticism.
that.
But I don't have anything else to say. As I said, mixed feelings, but the romance is fine, and I do like that it's in Hokkaido. So yeah, that's what I can say.
I think it's wholesome.
Yes,
A little
it is wholesome
underrated.
actually.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
wholesome. Now, as I said, there's some episode where I felt so, and there's some episodes that are stronger. But yeah, overall it's fine,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
do think
definitely.
it's wholesome too. Do you want to
I don't even
say
have
more?
anything else to say anything about it. I
Okay.
mean, you said everything.
Let's see Kawaii Crew rant here then.
All right. Yeah, I'm about to spit a real spicy, piping hot take here. Cover your ears,
Okay.
Hokkaido fans, because I'm about to rip your favorite show to shreds. Okay, well, let's just start off with these things that I like about the series. I like Minami. I mean, I think she's cute. I mean, Sakurai Ayane did a great job of voicing her. And yeah, I think that's about it. As for the things I dislike about this show,
Long list.
okay. First of all, I have to say, after watching I dropped this in episode 2, and I just feel like this is just one of the most cliche rom-coms imaginable. Like, I just don't feel like, I mean, yeah, I get it. So a lot of people think it's wholesome, but I just don't feel like there's anything like really unique here. It's a lot of the same cliche rom-com tropes. We see, oh, this dude who doesn't have a lot of friends falling in love with the pretty girl, and oh, she likes him for some reason because he's nice, and oh, they spend a lot of time. Oh, they spend a lot of time together. Oh, and also the igloo. The episode 2, the igloo scene where see, look, it's the funny trope of it sounds like sex is going on, but it actually isn't. Haha, you better laugh now. Like, oh my god, how many other anime have we seen that before? Like, how many times have we seen that before? It's, oh my god. I mean, also, yes, I have to talk about the main character. He is also one of the biggest reasons why I dropped this show. Okay, I get it. I understand. Like, a lot of people may say that he is not the main focus of the show. The main focus of the show is the girls. But here's the thing, though. If the main focus of the show was really about the girls, why not just have it just focus on Minami and the other girls and just remove him out of the picture? Because I'll tell you why. Because it is supposed to be a rom-com at the end of the day, and a rom-com means that both parties, it's focused on two parties: the male protagonist and the female main heroine. And when I watch a rom-com, I expect both parties to pull their weight. I expect good chemistry from both parties, and I expect them to be likable characters and interesting in their own right. Shin is not likable, and he is not interesting. He is the most bland, mediocre, milquetoast protagonist. One of the most mid protagonists I have ever seen from a rom-com. It's like if making a bland mid rom-com character was an art form, the author of this series would be fucking Leonardo da Vinci. That's just how I feel about this series. I mean, it's amazing how little likable qualities that he has. It's astonishing. I just don't like him. I just don't like him at all. And yeah, I think other than that, there's just really nothing that I really enjoy about this series, which is why I dropped it episode 2. I mean, like I said, I understand the appeal. I mean, I understand, like, hey, if you haven't watched a lot of rom-coms, or maybe if you're just looking for a wholesome good time, or if you just look, if you're just a real sucker for rom-coms, like you just really enjoy seeing a romantic relationship between two characters, I mean, hey, you know, I mean, I understand why you might enjoy this. But for me, I'm just looking for something more. And that's kind of why I enjoy A Sign of Affection more. I think it just really just hits I think it just really hits the wholesome note better, in my opinion. And it just offers a lot more. I mean, it's more unique in
Yeah,
that aspect because
yeah. I mean, the thing is that A Sign of Affection is a better romance because it's more. I mean, the script is much more deep than this one. This one is mostly just for watch for because it's fun. That's it. The other one is just you actually have a deep story going on here that you are invested in. So that's different. But I agree with you. A Sign of Affection is much better than this one.
I like how this crew just went and just dropped a nuke on this show.
I told you I was gonna lay a steaming hot take on this series.
Leave no survivor.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay, so next up on the list, Anapod. I think. Wait, are you still watching this, or did you drop it? The next show is The
I'm
Witch and the Beast.
behind, but I'm still watching it. But there's not much that interests me in this show, to be honest. Because I'm a bit behind on much stuff. I'm actually considering dropping this because the only thing that really interests me in this show is to see the girl fight the vampires. Was it vampires or
Witches.
what was it again? The witches, right? That's like I like the action with her fighting witches. That's it. The other part of the story I don't really care about, so I'm not going to go more into details on that because I don't really have anything else to add. But highly considering dropping it for that reason because I just not that interesting to me.
For me, like I originally went into this show like because of like kind of like the supernatural aspect and the fact that it's kind of like has a Victorian setting to it because it takes place like this kind of European looking city and like a lot of the Western influences aside along with the like supernatural elements like witches and all that. And so it kind of reminds me of a lot of the other shows that I watched like Undead Girl Murder Farce and like Mars Red and all that. So I was really looking forward to this show. And after being caught up with it, I will say I'm enjoying it, but it's not really a show I would consider that met my expectations. In fact, I mean, first of all, I like the main two characters. Guido, I mean, she's enjoyable to watch. I mean, she's cute. I mean, she's very strong. I mean, I like the way she fights and all that. I like her chemistry with Ashraf. However, I don't believe that these two are the best characters in this series. In fact, I would say that The Witch and the Beast, it's another case. It's kind of another Inspector Season 2 case. And what I mean by that is it's another case where the side character is much more likable and much more interesting than the main characters. And for those who don't remember, in Inspector Season 2, everyone loves the Yuki Onna and Masayuki.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, those two. And like they will even go so far as to say that they're better, like they're much more enjoyable to watch than the main couple, which I can agree to an extent. However, I also feel that way about this show because the side characters that really do it for me is Fanora, the necromancer, and Johan, her servant. I just think that they are just much more enjoyable and they have much better chemistry than the main cast. In fact, a lot of people even consider episode 4, the episode where they were introduced, a lot of people consider that to be like the best episode so far. And I hear from source material readers that it's only going to go up from there. And for me, I mean, I do enjoy episode 4. However, I actually think that episode 5 would probably be my favorite episode so far for me. But yeah, it's funny, like, because like I said, this is another one of those cases where these side character greatly surpasses the main characters for me. Other than that, I do like the action. The action's pretty good. There's some pretty good mystery aspects of it as well. Also, nice amount of blood and gore here and there. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not sure if I would say it's one of my favorites this season. I don't know. I'll decide that once I make my top 10 for this season. But we'll see. But I'm enjoying it so far. And I do kind of understand why not a lot of people would like it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, next up on the list, I don't know, Enipo, are you watching Tomozaki-kun Season 2?
Yes, this is
Okay.
actually probably the only one I'm caught up with, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. So I actually did enjoy season 1 quite a lot. Actually, I thought it was slow in the beginning, but it actually picked itself up. So I guess the main story here is really that we got this introverted guy that only cares about his video games, and he doesn't have any friends at all. And then there's this girl in his class who also likes video games, but she also has a life outside of video games, and he's actually very good at the video game, and they play online. And then she finds out, oh, he's that guy in my class. So her role here is really for him to get out in life, and she's trying to I guess get him to think that life is a video game, that you level up in real life, and get your friends. So she gives him all these tasks, get friends and do this with the friends and talk to these girls, etc. So that's kind of what I'm enjoying about the show, actually, to see him get better and better from there and see how he gets more into the real world. And now in season 2, they actually focus a lot more on the romance lately, which I really like. It's actually something that came up in the latest episode with, like, I think there are like 3 girls overall that could be love interest for him. It's first off is the girl that introduced him to the real life, but I think she's a bit too normal, so I don't really ship them. Otherwise, we got the bookworm Fuka and the talk active girl Mimi. And in season 1, I actually liked Fuka more, but I gotta say Mimi has really grown on me in season 2, because she's just so happy and cheerful, and she actually confessed in the latest episode, which made me really happy. So I think the story for now is going to focus on him actually trying to get more into the romance part of this. I think that's actually part of his task now, to kind of choose which one he wants to go out with. But yeah, overall, as I said, what I like about this show is just him improving himself, just because with the help of her telling him that life can also be a video game. So it sounds sounds like a very simple story, but it's actually quite enjoyable.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not watching season 2. I've watched, like, I'm gonna say the first 3 or 4 episodes of season 1 before I dropped it, mainly because I wasn't really interested at the time, and also because I think I just have a lot of other shows that I was watching and a lot of other interests that I had going on at the time, and I knew I wasn't gonna pick the show back up again.
Actually, it was around the first 4 episodes that I also considered dropping it, actually, because that's when it was at the slowest. But after that, it actually like whoosh, like that, and it's actually getting a lot more enjoyable. Now with season 2, it actually felt like there wasn't a lot of progress happening, even for me in the beginning. But it's like at the end of each season, it feels like that's where it starts to get really interesting. That's what keeps motivating me to keep watching this one, actually.
Let's see. DJ, are you watching this? Okay. All right. Other than that, let's move on to another show that Oliver can actually talk about. Gushing over magical girls.
I'm not watching this one, so this is all yours.
Another ecchi show this season.
100% ecchi show.
Yes. Oh my
They-
god.
the show that they went, all right, we want to put in some fetishes. Which ones should we put in? Yes.
All of them.
It seems like this one is quite popular on reactions, though, if I understand it correctly. I know
Yes.
Queen
Oh,
Didia
yes,
said on Twitter,
yes.
actually, oh, like a lot of views.
Yeah, I wonder why.
To be honest, I have considered reacting to it, but it's like the thing about ecchi shows for me, is that like everybody wants to see the uncensored version, but obviously
Yeah.
I can't show the uncensored version because of YouTube guidelines. So what am I supposed to watch the censored version just because of a live reaction? And so
You can
like,
always
I'm not
put the
really sure how to.
Well, if you're using Patreon, you could always put the uncensored version on Patreon.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I guess. Then again, that's just a lot.
And the fact that in the past, I just went, fuck it. And when I reacted to, Monster Musume, I watched the uncensored version. I put it on YouTube and I was just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Also,
So-
another reason why I probably won't react to any ecchi shows is because I have gotten community guideline strikes in the past just for thumbnails. Like even like I've gotten community guideline strikes for less. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. But yeah,
So yeah, with this show,
It's something, all right.
it's
something. Where to begin? Deja, do you want to start?
While
No, go
Oliver,
ahead.
while Oliver gathers his thoughts.
All right, I do. I do like the main characters. I like the main girl. I like the idea of, from what I've gathered, it's like because yes, everyone is like a magical girl.
Mhm.
Well, not like everyone, but like our main
Yeah.
main cast. And I like the idea of actually, it's like these two, like in the end, it's like these two, I guess, alien creatures are just like doing this for the shits and giggles, pretty much. But it's like, yeah, we're going to have one side be the heroes and the other side be the villains, and see what happens here. And it turns out like, no, that's actually not actually the case, and they're just, like doing this because they just want to see what happens, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how do you say her name? Utina?
Utena.
No.
Utena.
Utena? Yeah. She's a really good main protagonist. I like how like in her civilian form, like she can get along with like everyone.
Anybody?
Yeah, and then like as soon as she changes, like the mask comes off, and it's just like full on BDSM.
Yes,
Full on
Yeah.
sadism.
Yeah, pretty much. And she just like seeing her, just the facial expressions, this has me laughing alone. It's just so good. I don't know. It's just like I think I just needed just like some stupid ecchi show that just ticks all the right boxes for me. It just needed something dumb, needed some nudity, and just full out just love it. So that's me, honestly.
Oliver, I don't think you like. Did you know about this show, or like, did you not know about it until like you saw my posts about it? Like,
I did not know. I honestly did not know about it until I saw your post, and I was like, I need to check this show out, and I have not looked back.
aren't you glad that I introduced this show to you?
Yes, thank you, thank you, crew.
But yeah. Any other thoughts? Let's see.
The dollhouse episode.
Oh.
the
Oh,
one with the
yes.
baby
Oh my god.
that took me out. I literally had to just click my brain off. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No.
I honestly, that was one episode in which I was just like, okay, all right, yeah, every single fetish ever is happening. So,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
this is not one of my fetishes, but okay.
To be honest, I I have PTSD from watching Migi to Dolly because every time I see a character being turned into a baby and acting like a baby, I'm reminded of that scene from like Migi to Dolly. Annie Po knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but even I cringed at that part at least.
Yeah. But yeah, DJ, do you have any other thoughts?
Oh, Sulfur's best girl. At all three.
Sulfur?
Yes!
Oh.
Like, you thought I was gonna say magenta?
No. I mean, I just didn't expect it because I feel like a lot of other people would say Azure as their best girl.
See, I see that, but no.
I understand Sulfur though. In fact, one thing I do love about this show is that like they actually had Sulfur swearing in the subtitles, which I absolutely love. I think that's just hilarious.
Oh yes, that's right.
She says like literally what I'm thinking, so I'm like, I can connect to that like mood. But yeah, no, it's still good. Makes me turn my brain off sometimes. I've had a lot of conversations with people about it, and of course, it's brought out.
Did you? Yeah, I was going to say, like, I heard reports that you've been talking about some of your
Shut up.
fetishes or something like that on your channel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, this show has something for everybody.
I heard. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But there was something. I'm just trying to think. I think there was something else that was brought up that like, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Like there was something in comparison to the manga that it's based on. Like I heard something along the lines like, oh, what was it? Like not that they're skipping content, but there was like something else. But I can't remember what it was. Like, oh, that's annoying. I can't think of what it is. I guess it doesn't matter. But there was like something like important about like a comparison between like the manga and the anime. But I don't really know what it was. I think it maybe like even though it's uncensored, there's stuff that they've like toned down still. I think that's what it was. So it makes me wonder, like, okay, what the heck have they toned down?
Yeah, I mean, the anime adaptation's already pretty extreme as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what made them go, yeah, that's taking it a little too far in terms of all the fetishes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, to be honest, yeah, I think I may know what you're talking about, but yeah, it's that something like that does sound familiar, but I can't quite remember the details. So
if anyone who's watching this podcast knows what we're referring to, please let us know in the comments. What we're trying to remember and discuss.
What we may be getting at.
Yeah, what we're trying to get at here. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's just turn your brain off. Don't think about it too hard. Otherwise, you're going to like hurt your brain.
Yeah.
It's just etchy fun, and especially since there's some bit of like, all right, talking about people like throwing people under the bus. Did you hear about that stupid guy that apparently started watching this show, and he didn't realize it was like etchy?
Oh my!
Even though like the poster gives it away, like how do you go into this show and go, I had no idea this was an etchy and I don't like it?
Oh boy, a cute little magical girl show. Oh, I would love to watch this all out in public. Oh my god, why is there boobs? Oh my god, it's uncensored. Oh man, that is just unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't like to throw people under the bus for that, but like, come on, like, get some perspective of like what you're watching.
Do at least a little bit of
You
research.
always check the tags on the
shows. Like when it says R plus, and especially now that in the later episodes they actually have put a warning before the show saying
they have
this show is for this show is for people over the age of 18, blah blah blah. Yeah, they've done that in the last couple of episodes just to like clarify, like, yeah, if you're under 18, don't watch this.
Oh yeah, I must have missed that, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. But yeah, for me, I mean, first of all, I gotta give props to, what was it, High Dive or whoever's in charge of the show.
High Dive.
For releasing uncensored versions, just right off the bat, like no.
They knew what the public wanted.
They knew it. They understood the assignment.
They understood the assignment. They understood like nobody wants to watch that censored shit.
Now we're not gonna save for the BDs. No, you're gonna enjoy the uncensored stuff, and you're gonna like it. But yeah, no uncensored BS. No steam, no light rays. It's just full on in your face.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's your tits. Enjoy.
And
here's your BDSM. Enjoy.
Exactly. I mean, this show really does tackle like almost every fetish under the bus. Oh, you like BDSM? This show has some for you. Oh, you like tentacles? Some for you. You like
some plant monster thing? Go ahead. If you like, your baby fetish
infantilism, there's some for you. You like giantess fetish? You have a giantess fetish? There's some for you. You have a tickling fetish? There's some for you. Like, how many other shows have a tickling fetish? How many other shows cater to those types of people? Like, it's insane. I mean, I still don't understand the logic behind tickling as a fetish, but hey, I mean, it's there. Also, there's just there's a lot of stuff there that you can enjoy. Whatchamacallit? Oh yeah, one thing I will say is that this show is going in an interesting direction. Sorry to those who aren't caught up with it, but wait, are you guys?
I'm only 2 episodes behind.
Oh,
I'm only 2 episodes behind. So
you haven't seen? Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I need to catch up. I need to find some time to watch the latest 2 episodes.
Okay, well, I will say that there are some new characters that are introduced around the latest episode.
Yeah, well, I kind of expected new characters to show up because they're in the OP, and I've been waiting for them to make an appearance because I want to know who they are. So,
okay, well, yeah, there are some new characters that were introduced in the latest episode, and this show is kind of going in an interesting direction because now, the Enormita, or I guess Utena, Kiwi, and Nero Alice, now they have...
Teams are divided.
Yeah, now they have a new enemy to face. So it's not just the magical girls anymore. So
okay.
So
okay.
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in seeing where that goes. What else? I think that's pretty.
I think we pretty much covered it all.
I think we pretty much covered it all. Yeah. I mean, there are still some things that I'm like, okay, that's just weird, but yeah, other than that, I mean, it's still
just accept it for what it is.
Just accept it for what it is.
If you're not watching this show yet and you want to watch it, just turn off your brain, don't think about anything, and just enjoy it for what it is. If you like ecchi, great. If you like your BDSM stuff or whatever, great. Check it out and have your own opinion on it.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Next up on the list is another show that I really enjoy, but for a different reason than Gushing Over Magical Girls. Seventh Time Loop. Now,
I'm not watching this one.
I know.
Like I just saw Villainous, and I'm not watching this one. But I did hear great things afterwards.
I haven't. I'm not watching it.
Ever since I dropped that Katarina one in season 2, I'm done with Villainous shows. pretty
Oh.
much.
Oh, Deja. I think we might need to educate
Damn.
dudes like Anipode because
I mean, because it's really good, though. I mean,
It's
it's
really good.
underrated. It's kind of
I know
slow at
I'm not
times, but it's still good, though.
I'm not watching it, but I know of it, and I also know where I work in the library, we actually do have like the first 3 or 4 volumes of the light novel.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so maybe I'll check it out at some point if you guys can also convince me if it's worth picking up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was kind of I did like pick up I got it off the shelf, the first volume, and I did read like the synopsis on the back for it, and I was like, oh, this actually does sound interesting. Because the idea of what, if I remember correctly, it's like she wants to hook up with like some guy, and she's
Okay.
like the villain, and so she
No,
keeps
no.
like,
She's the hero. The guy
Oh, okay.
is kind of the villain, and the guy ends up killing her. And so she repeats her life like over and over again. And she lives different lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
hang on, if she's the hero, then why is it called the villainess?
That's a good question. And to be honest, I'm not too sure myself. I think it's really
I turned that part off.
yeah, we don't
Because
we
they
don't
don't
really care about
really
that.
talk about it, though. It's just her as like a heroine and the situation with Arnold, and just they don't really talk about
Yeah, but
why she
because
was
doesn't every time she comes back, isn't she like she was like a different she has a different job or something like that? So
Yeah.
she starts
And
off as
she-
a hero,
she has
and then
her
it's like she's like a
memories
maid
of
or
the
something,
previous
and
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what all I know about it.
hmm I mean, she gets to see like other people from like her previous lives and such, so she's able to like reestablish those connections. But it doesn't really go like too much in depth in that. It's more of like
It's
I don't know
more.
how to describe
It's more about the romance and fantasy aspect of it
Well-
than.
kinda, yeah. Like
Okay.
mm,
Hmm.
all I can say is like watch one episode of it and then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still good though.
I'd say yeah, I'd say
Well, it's
like
got a decent score,
Mhm.
so
I'd say watch the first like maybe I don't know 3 or 4. Like give it the 3 of 5 episode rule.
And then make your decision on that.
Yeah.
the thing you have to know about me is like if I end up watching something, I watch all of it. I don't drop shows.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So-
true. Yeah.
I still
so-
I still remember my old days, you know, when I dropped like more than half of what I was watching. I'm not
Because-
doing that anymore.
yeah,
but
because I know people argue like, oh, if you're not enjoying something, you shouldn't. You should like stop watching it and drop it. But then I've noticed those sorts of people, and this is just my opinion. Like they'll drop a show and be like, "Oh, I didn't enjoy it, so nobody else should enjoy it because I didn't enjoy it," sort of thing. At the very least, if you're not enjoying it, watch the entire show, and then at the very least you have an opinion about it. Like if you only watch a couple of episodes and then say, "I've dropped it and I didn't because I didn't enjoy it and I don't want other people watching it." Like as soon as you say that to me, I'm like, "Yeah, your opinion doesn't matter because you didn't watch the entire show and you. So why should I listen to your opinion on it? Because, like, who knows what you don't know what happened later in the season. You don't know any about what sort of character development happened. So yeah, long story short, if I do watch Seventh Time Loop, I will watch Seventh Time Loop.
That's
Like-
what I like to hear.
I will like watch every episode and then make an opinion on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. After saying that, I might have to pick up Metallic Rouge again because I dropped it like halfway through.
we're gonna talk
Oh.
about it one later.
Yeah, we could
but
talk about
yeah,
that one later.
Is that another etchy?
It's a season.
It's-
No,
No.
we're gonna get into that one later. So
Yeah.
Okay.
let's focus on this.
All right. Is there any other final thoughts on Seventh Time Loop?
For me, yeah, this is easily. I think, yeah, this is also like another show that I really enjoy. Now, one thing I gotta say about this show, the title. Do not be put off by the title because for some reason they picked the most like cliche, off-putting title that you can have. Like, what's the title of the show again? Like Seventh Time Loop, the villainess.
The seventh time loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. Is the English title?
Sounds
Yeah.
like all the other light novels.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't. That's what's terrible. That's what I don't like about it. Is that they just make it sound so cliche and so uninteresting. But when in actuality the actual series is far from it. And I don't know why they chose that title of all things. So first of all, the main character, Rouge, the main female lead. I really like Rouge. I think she's also, I would consider, one of my favorite, one of my best girls this season. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest reasons why I like her is that she is almost the definition of a strong female main character. Because, I mean, yes, she reincarnated multiple times and all of that. And so you kind of, just judging by that synopsis, a lot of people expect her to be like a generic isekai protagonist, or this Mary Sue who's completely OP and just crushes everything in sight. However, Rouge is not really like that. Because while, yes, she has reincarnated multiple times and she has developed a lot of experiences from 6 other lifetimes, there's still a lot that she doesn't know. I mean, yes, she's very skilled. She has developed a lot of skills, and she uses that to her advantage. But there's a lot that she doesn't know, and there's a lot that she has to figure out for herself. And we see that as the series progresses. We see her putting the pieces together, asking more questions and all that, and learning as she goes. And also, and like I said, I appreciate that she's not like a complete Mary Sue, because while very skilled, she is not OP. She doesn't not everything is just handed to her instantly. So there's actually character development when it comes to her. And I really enjoy that. Also, yeah, going back to the whole villainess thing, I'm guessing the reason why it's called there's villainess in the title is because one, I guess, just to hook in the shoujo otome crowd. Also, I'm guessing it's also because, like, during the first episode, she got her marriage annulled and stuff like that, and you see that a lot in other villainess shows, so I guess maybe that's also where the title comes from. But other than that, she doesn't have villainess tendencies. She's not like the cliche villainess. She's not the one that goes, oh, like, she doesn't laugh like that. There's really nothing like villain about her. Like, she's a very good-hearted person, actually. So, yeah, the whole villainess moniker is very deceiving. Also, I really like her chemistry with Arthur. In fact, their relationship, I would say, is also progressing very nicely as well. No spoilers, but yeah, it does progress a lot very quickly, just like the relationship between Yuki and Itsuomi from A Sign of Affection. Also, I mean, yeah, I mean, if I had to give some criticisms, I would say, gosh, I mean, I guess the production quality could be better. But then again, I mean, when you see scenes like the dance scene from around episode 3, which was beautiful, I mean, it's hard to even criticize that as well. So, I mean, yeah, overall, I mean, I would honestly, like, for those who are put up by the whole villainess thing, I'd say at least just give this a try. Because I can almost guarantee you so far, it's nothing like the other villainous animes that have been put out before. Like, it has a strong female main character, which is something that I just don't see a lot in anime. I mean, yes, there are some cliche elements here and there, especially during the one scene where Rouge got supposedly abducted. I mean, you see that in a lot of other villainous anime, but even that has a really nice and kind of fun twist on that aspect as well. So
Okay.
yeah, like I said, just give the show a try, and I honestly think it might surprise some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, next one is Shin no Nakama season 2. I think this is another show that I put on because I know Memory is also watching this. And Nepo, are you watching this?
No, I dropped it at episode 2, actually season 1. But to be fair though, I think I dropped this was, as we talked about before, and this was kind of when you and I started meeting Kawaii Crew. It was during a time when I just with slightest uninterest I would drop a show, and that's something that we worked on lately. And today I feel like I probably dropped it too soon. So yeah, but I'm not watching it. No.
Yeah, to be
Is that-
honest, I'm kind of
Sorry, is
working
this,
on that as well. Huh?
Is this the in English the Banished from the Hero's Party?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of working on that as well. Like before, I would drop shows early on either because I was just not interested in seasonal anime at the time. There was other interests that I wanted to pursue, or I just wasn't interested in the show in general. So yeah, I would drop shows a lot easier. Now I am working on that. So yeah, I do understand where you're coming from. But yeah, if there's no other thoughts, I guess we can move on to Metallic Rouge, which is a show that admittedly, I'm not caught up on. But
Me
I have
neither,
watched
but
the
yeah,
first few
sorry.
episodes.
Yeah, so I'm not caught up either, but I'm just as Queen Dija, I'm planning to maybe drop this one. For number 1, I'm behind on stuff. Number 2, there's a lot on Wednesdays. And number 3, I don't understand the story because
Same.
yeah, the fighting scenes and animation is good, but what's going
Wow,
on?
it's got a
What-
very
Exactly, like
another low
100%.
score.
Yeah, so like I mean, I don't see this is actually one of those where I feel like, well, if I have a lot to watch already, I'm not gonna waste my time on this one. So this is probably gonna be a drop for me. Even I guess some people are probably gonna keep completing it until the end just because of the animation to see how it ends. But for me, I mean, also to be fair, I've never really been a big mecha fan either, to be honest, and that's probably
It's a
why
mecha show?
it's kind of a mecha.
No.
It has mecha elements at least.
It has
Oh,
it also
okay.
has mecha tag, but it's kind of in that. But I guess to make it more specific, it's more like androids, I would say, something like that, or
Yeah.
robots, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't understand what's going on, and I don't really see a reason for me to keep watching this because I guess this is also kind of normal because this is an original, right? So I guess they're just trying to make a story, and it just doesn't turn out very well. So the animation I mean, for me, it can be the worst animation, but if the story is a 10 out of 10, I would watch it until the end. It can
Exactly.
be X-arm. It can be X-arm animation. I don't care if the story is super good. I will watch it until the end. But if the animation is like a 10 out of 10, but the story is just 1, I will drop it. And that's probably gonna be the case for this one.
And considering the fact, and it's kind of in a way kind of sad because I was just looking at the company that's doing this one, Metallic Rouge, and it's Bones of all people.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to be like their anniversary for their anime and such, but
Yeah, but this
Oh.
is a flop.
seems episodic and it makes no sense at
Yeah,
times.
considering the fact this is the same studio that did Full Metal Alchemist and the My Hero Academia stuff, and
Bundle Stray
another one that
Dogs.
and another one that I would need to actually. This one's kind of sad. I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. This is because this is one that I was reacting to as a Patreon, and that's Snow White with the red hair. I really want to get back to that because I'm really enjoying it, but I think I've just took on a bit too much in the last, I don't know, last couple of months. So yeah, that's why I'm taking a year off, and I just wanted to bring that up into the podcast as well, just so I could let people know what's going on. I really should probably make my own video on it.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Anyway, sorry for the tangent.
No problem. Yeah, for me, I only watched, I think I'm only up to episode 3, or like, well, I just finished. Well, I finished episode 3, so I have to watch episode 4. And so far for me, like, I don't know. It's like I understand, like, the world building is pretty interesting, with the whole way, like, it's kind of like set up on Mars, and you got the integration of like robots or Neans, I think they were called, into human society. You get to see the way they're treated and all that. I mean, there's an interesting setup there. It's a really interesting setup there. And the 2 female main characters, they have their own charm to them. But I don't know, like, yeah, the show isn't clicking for me. At least not yet. Like, there's just something about this show that is like, I don't know, I just can't get enthusiastic about it. Now, of course, to be fair, I mean, I'm still very early into this series. So who knows? Maybe once I get caught up, I'll start enjoying it more. But yeah, other than that, Metallic Rouge is just, it's okay for me. If not a little bit underwhelming, which kind of sucks because, yeah, I mean, it's by Bones. And Bones has a great rap sheet, as many of us all know. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully,
I think that's why we are not caught up on this one, because like none of us are really motivated to keep watching this. It's just there. Like
It's
when
just-
I start, yeah, like when I try to start an episode, I'm like, oh, you know, look at the watch. What time is it?
oh,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
You never
So, yeah,
want a series like that.
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'll try to maybe I'll warm up to it. Once I catch up. Who knows? But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, next up on the list, Tales of Wedding Rings. Now, Anipode, I know that this is another show that you do enjoy.
Well, to be honest, I think I enjoy it more than I should. To be honest, like, it's not like it's a super show or something like that. It isn't. But I do see my enjoyment with this show. Now Madeline is not here, but I remember in the last podcast we were talking about 100 Girlfriend, and he was like questioning, you know, name another harem show that you enjoy more than 100 Girlfriend. And I gotta say, this one actually is one of them.
Ooh.
Like, for example, in 100 Girlfriend, when they introduce new girls, I was like, oh, it is what it is. In this case, when they introduced like the elf and the cat girl, I was like, yes, you know. So I actually do enjoy that aspect of it more. It's kind of funny too. I mean, I actually like the comedy better in this one than in 100 Girlfriends. So now, as I said, it's one of those shows that I shouldn't be enjoying as much as I do, but I actually do find the comedy in this one to be working for me. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have to say about this one, actually.
To be honest, this is another show that I'm just not really interested in. Also, this show is also ecchi, but it's nowhere near as extreme as Gushing Over Magical Girls or Chain Soldier. But I do remember I think there was an ecchi tag on my anime list for this series. But yeah, Tales of Wedding Rings. I think I'm only on episode. I've only watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and so far like I said, I'm just not really interested in it, and I guess it's because I made the foolish decision of not checking the tags properly, because to be honest, I was surprised when I found out that it was a harem. Because I thought for sure it was gonna be just about the main dude and then the main heroine, his childhood friend. I thought it was just mainly gonna be about him marrying her in this other dimension and all that, or this other world and all that. But yeah, to my surprise, it's a harem anime, and I don't know. I just still feel like it would have been better if it was just focused on the main 2 on the main protagonist and the childhood friend girl. I think that those two just have good enough chemistry already. And when you add like other girls into the mix, I'm still very doubtful that the chemistry will be as good or the show will be as entertaining. But yeah, like I said, I like the main chemistry between the two. I think there were some good ecchi moments, although to be honest, I don't quite remember them. Also, I do remember the kiss they shared in episode 2. That was really nice. But other than that, like, it's weird. Like, I can't, like, I like harem anime, but I just can't bring myself to be excited about this one. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll catch up to this show. But it's definitely not, like, in terms of shows I have to catch up on, it's not really a huge priority for me as of right now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So this next up on the list, oh man, this is a show that I know a lot of people. There's quite a few people that don't like this show, but for me, I'm enjoying the absolute. I'm enjoying the absolute hell out of this one. Foolish Angel Dances with the Devil. All right.
Yeah, I dropped this one.
Big L to you, Antipode. Big L to you. But yeah, I guess I'll just start off with my thoughts because I know Antipode dropped this one. This, I just can't help but have a lot of fun with this show. First of all, I really like the main two characters, Akutsu and Amane. Now let me just say, there is a reason that a lot of people are comparing this show. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. There's a reason why a lot of people are comparing this show to Kaguya-sama, but this show is also about the main two characters, trying to one-up each other, trying to get the best out of each other because they are actually in love with each other and all of that. However, of course, it's not, this show deals with angels and demons, and of course, Kaguya-sama is more grounded in reality and all that. However, you can even say, like, the romantic chemistry between Akutsu and Amane, like, I would even say that it is just as good as the chemistry between Miyuki and Kaguya from Kaguya-sama. Of course, in my opinion, at least. I mean, and you can still draw a lot of similarities there. But yeah, there's a lot of great romance going on. Well, I mean, although the relationship isn't progressing as fast as the other shows that we talked about, and there's just a lot of great humor as well. There's just a lot of moments where I laughed out loud. Now, of course, the humor isn't going to be for everybody. And I understand that, In fact, there is some scenes where the humor didn't exactly click for me as well. And I feel like that's also one of the reasons why a lot of people dropped the show early on. It's because of the first two episodes. I understand the first two episodes didn't exactly leave a good first impression. Because a lot of people think, Amane is keeping Akutsu as a slave. Oh, this must be some BDSM cringe type show. And this must be like some sort of fan servicey type show with a lot of cringe moments. And now I understand why the first episodes can give off that impression. However, I would say that it definitely toned that down as the series progresses. It starts to become less about Amane keeping Akutsu as a slave and more so about actually realizing their feelings for each other. So I would definitely say that if you can get past the first two episodes, you might be able to find some enjoyment out of this show as it progresses. Also, one thing I do like about this show is that they have there's a really interesting choice when it comes to showing the rivalry between Akutsu and Amane in the form of these boxing matches between like a dude with the head of like a tiger or like a cat, and a dude with like the head of a dog and a wolf. The names Theom and Joe, which are actually voiced by Luffy and Goku's Japanese VA. And I
Okay.
do, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, I do like the what they did with that as well. I also love the fact that as the show progresses, like they don't even fight anymore, because like the main two leads aren't really like, the rivalry is slowly becoming like an actual romance. So rather than these two fighting each other, they're just like they're watching Akuta and Amane like have these romantic moments. Like they're just watching them. Like they're kind of reflecting the audience in a way. So I thought that was just really amusing as well. If I had to give some criticisms, I mean, yeah, I do understand. Like, you know, comedy is subjective. You know, I mean, it's not gonna hit for everybody. And yes, I understand why there's some cringe moments that not a lot of people are gonna enjoy. But yeah, other than that, Kaguya's fucking the foolish ain't no dance with the devil. I mean, I have to say, I would even go so far as to say this is underrated, because it has a 6 on my anime list, which I think is just criminal. Because
It's
I
not.
really do think it's a really fun watch. So yeah, I would say maybe if you're a fan of Kaguya-sama, you could definitely find some enjoyment out of this, or maybe not. I leave it up to the viewer to decide. But yeah, but for me, I'm enjoying this so far. I would probably say it's one of my favorites this season, but like I said, I'll find that out once I develop my top 10. Once I make my top 10. But yeah, other than that, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, like I can say this much. I dropped it because of the first 2 episodes, and just as you said, it was for the comedy. Like for example, the introduction when he was introduced to the class with his wig that looks like he was bald as teenager.
Oh, that was funny though. That was funny.
Well, that was, I guess, but yeah, no, I didn't like the comedy, so that's why I dropped it.
Oh
So
man.
that's what I can say.
All right. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Like you said,
Yeah.
you do you.
Yeah.
Next up on the list is another show that I'm admittedly not caught up on, Ishura.
I dropped this one.
Oh, you dropped it?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it. I don't have much to say. I guess it felt too rushed in the beginning, to be honest, how her whole city was destroyed, and then this guy just shows up and they go on their adventure, and already there I felt, yeah, I'm not gonna be watching this. It doesn't interest me. I don't have much else to say because I haven't watched past the first episode, but I'm not interested.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've only watched I think like this is another one where I only watched the first 3 episodes. So far it's like it's fairly enjoyable for me. I think it's at least okay. I do like the action. Like this is another one of those shows where like there's just a lot of blood and gore going on.
Well, it says gore in the theme here.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's definitely the theme. Yeah, right now I feel like I'm in the introductory phase still, because there's like the first 3 episodes I feel like were just like they're mainly focused on introducing a lot of the other protagonists, not just the main 2 that we saw in the first episode. So I still haven't really gotten a good idea of what the show is about, or whether or not I would really enjoy the show to like in its entirety. But so far, it's pretty good for me so far. I mean, I like the action. I like the blood and gore. I like the way each character was introduced and like what some of them are all about. I'm still waiting because supposedly this series is centered around, I guess, like this. It's either like a fighting tournament or like eventually some clash between all the characters that have been introduced so far. And I have yet to see it, so I'm still interested in seeing what that's all about. But I guess I'm just gonna have to. I'll get to it when I get to it, I guess. So, but yeah, so far I can't really form that big of an opinion on it because I'm not too caught up. But from what I can tell, it's pretty good. But yeah, other than that, next up, okay, a lot of people. This is a show I'm not watching, but some people consider this to be like an underrated gem or like a hidden gem of the season, and that is Dr. Elise.
It's actually quite
It's
interesting.
really
Actually,
good.
Really?
yeah.
I have not heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard
Like-
much about it.
So basically, if I'm gonna say the synopsis, is this girl in like a kingdom, and she was like overthrown, and she was killed because of it, and then she's reincarnated into the real world, and she becomes a doctor because she wants to kind of make amends for what she did in her past life. And she
Okay.
becomes like this super. So she becomes like both the doctor and like a surgeon at the same time, and she becomes a real pro at it. And then she's on a plane, and it crashes. And before
She
she dies,
dies
actually,
again.
she managed to save someone in the plane. And when she dies, she's actually reincarnated back into her old life again. Before she was reincarnated the first time, but now she has the knowledge from her past,
Her
her
second life.
previous life with as a doctor. So the life that she had before that was pretty much that, she was going to be the princess, she was going to marry the handsome prince or something like that. Now she has a different perspective here, and she actually tries to become a doctor in her old life. And
Okay.
it's really interesting to see her because she's like from the royal families, and she becomes the doctor here in like one of the more poorer districts. And she comes with all this knowledge, all these diseases, and she knows how to do the surgical things, etc. So she's really helping out. It's very interesting for everyone. No one expects her to be, they expect her to fail, because she has
Because
like
she's a woman.
this condition on her, like if you
It's one of.
cannot
Okay.
pass this exam, then you have to go and marry the prince, and you have to be the queen or princess
The
or whatever.
queen.
But she actually manages very well, and that no one expects that from her either. And she's like, I know she comes up with these things to cure a patient that the other doctors couldn't think about, which is actually really interesting to see her actually showing like, I'm the real doctor here, I take over. Now, if there is something I have to, I guess, criticize a bit with the show, is that for a show that goes back in time, when she's reincarnated back, where she goes back to time where, it's not as modern. And also you got to put in fact that she is a doctor in a more poorer hospital. They still seem to have a lot of the things that doctors need in modern life, like anesthesia or whatever it's called, and the stuff that she's using are actually quite modern, which I think is a little bit off, because for me it would be more interesting if she had more unmodern things to work with, to save the patient, but she still has the knowledge from her old life, and she's doing the best she can with what she has. But she actually has the tools to help her with that, which I think is okay. But it is what it is. But overall, it's still very interesting to see how she changes. And because this is also very interesting, because before she was reincarnated into the real life, the prince had absolutely no interest in her whatsoever because she was very selfish, etc. Now she's becoming more like, I'm becoming a doctor, and she's becoming more friendly and warm. And he actually started to get these feelings for her, which I think is very adorable. So overall, I would also say this is actually very underrated, a hidden gem, and I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Interesting. DJ, do you have any thoughts about this?
Well, I mean, I love the fact that she is like independent. That's really the best take for me. I mean, hey, you pretty much said everything I was thinking. Honestly, I mean, No, I don't have anything else.
Okay,
All right.
gotcha. All right. Other than that, next up on the list, the weakest Tamer. I think this is another show that I think Memory's also watching, or like some
Yes.
other people are watching this.
I'm watching it actually,
Okay.
and this is actually another one that I think is a hidden gem too. Actually, it's you would think in the beginning that we would just be your generic fantasy isekai. Whatsoever. It is actually is an isekai, but they kind of hinting at more. It's not like oh, Truck-kun arrives and he is transported into another world. It's not like that. It actually starts in this life.
That would be
and-
a great anime, though, if that did
Yeah.
actually happen.
Yeah, but it's more like it's sort of like it's just your normal fantasy, but they're hinting more about an isekai because this girl, she doesn't remember her past life, but there's like when she's thinking about stuff, suddenly there's this voice in her head. You cannot hear the voice, but you hear like this bling, and the voice talks to her, and then she repeats what the voice said. Oh, what do you mean with alarm clock or car or something like that? So there are hints that she's reincarnated actually, but the main focus here is really that in this village that she lives in, everyone has so-called stars, and the stars are kind of like their level of magic, I think, if I understood it correctly. And she's actually the only one without a star because when she's mature enough, they have to go to the church, and the priest will somehow call upon the gods or something and see how many stars she has, and she had 0. And because she had 0, because her family loved her, etc., but because she had 0 stars, she actually got kicked out of the village. She was like she was still a child. She was kicked out. Luckily, there was this old woman who still cared about her, who actually could predict her future, who still went out to the forest to see her and help her out. But then she dies, and then that's when her old village is like, we gonna, it was her fault that the old woman died, so we're gonna, go out in the forest and find her and kill her. And they actually hire, like, kidnap people to try and find her just to get her back into the village to kill her. So she has to escape from that. And what happens then, because she's all alone, that's actually something that I find to be very touching, that she's all alone by herself. She has to do all these things by herself. And then she finds this slime. It's like the weakest of slimes. That it's like it can just die the next day, and it's just them. Like it doesn't talk either. It's just them, and that's like the only friend she has. But as it turns out, the slime actually, because the slime is with her, the slime actually starts to develop a personality, and it's just, and she gets more because she's fleeing from her old village, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she keeps going to these new villages, which actually the new village actually has wanted signs on her, like, oh, you need to bring her back. Like they are determined to get her back, so they can remove her life. So she has to cut her hair and dress as a boy to hide herself. But she meets a lot of friendly people, and but she's still hiding her identity. And lately, also, because she actually got to the town that she was thinking about, this is where I have to go to find peace again. And the town that she says she doesn't reveal what happened, but she says in the town what village she came from, and they're like, oh yeah, that village is in big struggle. So something else have happened after she left that I don't know about yet. That's a big mystery. Like something is total chaos right there, and I'm interested to see what that is. But yeah, overall, it's just nice. It's a really good show, actually. Animation is actually really good. It's a very touching story of a girl who's being kicked out from her family and the village because she has no stars, and then to see what happens in her life and her journey after that, and her slime friend. So yeah, I do recommend this one. It's actually very good.
Interesting. Is anyone else watching this?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, I'm not watching this either, if I'm being quite honest. In fact, I think like from the rest of this list, the only show I'm watching is Ninja Kamui. But I have yet to watch
watching. I'm only watching Fluffy Paradise and Sengoku Youko here.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much one of the reasons why I put it on the list. So yeah, let's go on to Fluffy Paradise.
Yeah, this is actually another one that I'm actually enjoying. Actually, now I thought in the beginning that maybe it's gonna be a bit too repetitive because the main selling point for this show, I guess, was the fluffiness. You know, how she gets reincarnated into this other world, and she gets this ability from the gods to every animal loves her, and you know, you see her meet all these animals in the new world, and everyone, and they all the wild animals just get to her. You know, she can pet and be friends with all the animals. I think that was the selling point for this whole show. But lately, the show has actually started to get more into drama because they're kind of hinting on that the human beings in this show is the evil ones here. Like they kind of, you know, chasing away all the demi-humans and the monsters out because they're kind of chasing them away. And I think that's where it really gets interesting. I do appreciate that they don't only go with her petting animals, that they actually do add some drama into it as well and get more of a darker story, which is something I really appreciate. I actually have a reactor friend, and I think he actually dropped this one because it added drama. Because well, where did the fluffiness go? You know, they add drama now. I'm gonna drop this one. Like, isn't it a good thing that they do some variation on the show?
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But he was like, I was watching it for the wholesomeness. It's gone. I'm not interested anymore. Okay, you do you, I guess. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this quite a lot actually, because you know they focus more on the drama now, and it actually has an ongoing story now. So yeah.
Interesting. And no one else is watching this show, right?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, I'm not watching this either. Okay, next up on the list, Ninja Kamui.
Not watching.
You're not watching? Okay. Well, I know, man, this is I wish Memory were here. Because I know he's watching this as well, and he enjoys it. Now, I have yet to watch the second episode. There's only 2 episodes out. I've yet to watch the second one. But I have watched the first episode actually like literally right before I started the call for this podcast. Like I was watching the first episode of Ninja Kamui. And I'm really enjoying this. The first episode impressed the absolute hell out of me. So, for those who don't know, it's like, well, I mean, I don't quite remember exactly what the synopsis said. But from what I saw from the first episode, there's this group of ninjas that are hunting. I think they were like hunting down former ninjas because of some ninja code or something like that. And the main character, he used to be a ninja. He's in disguise. He started a family and all that. You know, he wasn't about that life anymore until the enemy ninjas, the ones that are hunting down other ninjas. I'm assuming he was part of that same group. But yeah, the enemy ninjas, they kill the main character's family. And obviously, like many other revenge stories before, he's full of vengeance. He's full of hatred. He wants to destroy them all. And that may sound cliche. However, what really sold me on
And it is.
But what really sold me on this show was, first of all, the action, the cinematography, the animation. Now, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is so fluid. It is so fast. It's very fast paced. It's so great to look at. And it's also very bloody as well, because there's a lot of body parts, a lot of blood flying as you see this dude just absolutely tearing these ninjas to shreds. It's really great to see. It's very entertaining. Also, one thing I also have to praise is the soundtrack. I don't talk a lot about anime OSTs, but I don't often bring up anime OSTs as like a significant pro, but I have to make an exception for this series in particular, because I really do think that the OST is just phenomenal. It's really up my alley. Like there's, especially during the one scene where you see this montage of the MC just spending time with his family, having really wholesome moments with his family before shit hits the fan. Like the guitars and the OST, it just hits all the right chords for me. And I just can't help but fall in love with it. I just can't help but fall in love with the OST. Also, the OP that we saw in the credits. I thought that was phenomenal as well. Cold Rain, same band that did the OP for Fire Force Season 2. They did a really good job with the OP as well. Yeah, overall, like this is surprising to me because I didn't hear anything about the series until Memory and a lot of other people started talking about it, and that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I decided to pick it up. And I watched I watched episode 1, and I'm pretty much hooked by now. So I'm definitely looking forward to more of what the show has to offer. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the last winter show that we plan on talking about is Sengoku Youko. Now, I am not watching this, but I heard it's really good, and it's 3 cores long. So yeah,
3 cores. Wow.
Jesus.
yeah,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. So yeah, people are going to be in it for the long haul for this one.
I don't have too much to say. I do enjoy it actually, because I like the character style. I like the animation. The story actually has its emotional parts too. For example, there was this one girl who was, I guess, I think her father got money so that she would be like in some experiment or something like that, and she turned into like a rock monster, and she lost all her memory, but she actually killed her dad because of it. And she felt very bad about it. That was actually very emotional to watch. So there are some emotional parts of it, but we also have the comedy with the what is it called? Fox girl. She's always so angry and stuff like that. That's actually very funny to watch. I cannot go into detail actually on how I feel about the show because I don't know how to really describe it in detail. But from what I've seen, I enjoy it more than I thought I would actually. Also, the fighting scenes are actually very good. They're actually very good, so they help a lot. I think that's pretty much what I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched this, but I know Memory, and I know Ryu is also watching this, and I know he's been really enjoying this so far. And knowing a lot of other people are enjoying this, so yeah, that's kind of why I put this on here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're right. It's 37 episodes, this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So people are in it for the long haul. That's honestly, that's kind of like one of the reasons why I didn't pick this up because, I mean, there's only so many like 2 multiple core shows that I can pick up each season.
Yeah.
And yeah, like already I'm like not slowly, but like obviously the one show that I'm like focused on watching all the way through until I catch up is Detective Conan. And I've been now watching that for the past like 2 years.
Insane.
So yeah, that's my long-running show that I'm watching.
I think for Detective Conan, long running is an understatement. It's all like the episode count is only rivaled by One Piece. It's crazy.
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say that Detective Conan is older than One Piece.
Yeah.
So
that would make sense.
Yeah. So it's fine. I'm enjoying it though. So.
But yeah.
I wish there wasn't so many fillers.
Well, I mean, if you have an episode count like that, then I guess that's to be expected.
You have to have fillers.
Yeah, honestly, the way I'm watching it is not through like episode count. It's more like through year count. So
interesting.
I'm meaning that I've just started 2013.
Oh,
interesting.
Gotta be a long way.
Shit.
And it started in 1996. So the anime.
Jeez.
So
that's even before I was
Are you
born.
watching the movies as well?
yep.
Jesus fucking Christ.
and the live action.
Oh.
I've watched the live action stuff as well.
Oh
How
my
do you
I'm
know
god.
there was
watching
live action?
everything. Yeah, there's live action as well,
I didn't
which
know
is
that.
which actually is canon to the anime. So
Interesting.
yeah, but so yeah, that's it. That's why that's my long running anime I'm watching, and the long running manga I'm reading is One Piece.
Of course.
But at least with One Piece, I'm actually almost caught up. So I think I'm like 45 chapters behind. So
Yeah,
there's that.
only 45 chapters behind, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
only 45 chapters.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the winter 2024 season. Now,
Yes.
we still have quite a bit of time. I mean, we're only about 2 hours and 20 minutes in. Do you guys want to talk about Free Ren and Apothecary Diaries before we go?
I
No,
won't mind
actually, we
quickly.
can skip that. I changed my mind on that one actually. So
Okay.
it's good as it is.
What
I
about-
do want to talk about Apothecary Diaries.
Okay.
At the very
Yeah,
least.
go ahead. But I dropped that one, so and I've already spoken about that
Yeah,
one.
he's
in the
already
previous
spoken
podcast.
about that.
So
Because that's interesting, because with Apothecary Diaries, I've got a little backstory here. I read the manga, and the only reason why I started reading the manga is because I did, one of those Mayan list challenges last year, like pick up a new book you haven't read before, and read a certain amount of chapters to see if you like it. So that's what happened with Apothecary Diaries for me. I read the first manga and fell in love with it because I loved how it was a different setting. It's set in the past. It's set in China, of all places. And I love Mao Mao. Mao is a great character. Like, this show is amazing. Like, I knew when they announced an anime for it that I would fall in love with it. So yeah, to me, this is a 10 out of 10 show.
Oh.
And you're,
really.
yep,
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Hold up.
yep. It's
As
a
I
10 out of 10
as I
show.
said before on the previous podcast, I'm the only one who seems to doesn't think that. But yeah, that's me. But
Well,
I
I
already,
mean, well, to
I
be
already
fair, I
spoke-
missed some of the podcasts. So what were your thoughts on why you don't like it?
Well, I was expecting more drama with her being kidnapped and everything. I just thought it was put off by all the comedy.
Don't tell me
they
you just
added.
watched the very first episode and then dropped it.
No, I actually watched like more than half of the first core, and then I decided to
Okay.
drop it. Yeah.
Because there's drama there. There's a lot of drama there. In fact, in the latest episodes, the drama has gone full on tilt into drama.
It could be that I dropped it just when the drama hit, actually.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably
yeah.
did. Because, yeah, the whole thing with the kidnapping plot at the beginning, that's just, yeah, it's just the thing to get her to the place she needs to be for the story. So, the story is more about her, it's about Mao Mao, like, investigating stuff that's happened in the court. It's more about poisons. It's more about apothecary stuff. So like it's about
that's also one thing that put me off a bit because it feels like that was kind of episodic. Each episode was some new mystery for her to solve as an apothecary, and I was like,
well, it's more again. It's with the Apothecary Diaries. It's more of the case of it builds up. So each episode is like episodic, but over time, it expands.
Sense.
Yeah, like that's how I like most anime these days. I don't really like the episodic stuff. Like even Detective Conan, like it's very episodic, but at the same time, like there's still this story there that's like building over the course of years. In this case with Apothecary Diaries, though, it's more like the story's building over the course of the 24 episode run that it has. But yeah, like seriously, like in the show you got like murder, you've got what else, like
You have political drama. You have
political
strife.
drama. Yeah, yeah.
We got
and,
we got the hairpins that I spoke about in the last.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got the hairpins.
that's another thing that I remember Anapode was like, he didn't really like about this series. He thought there was some confusing aspects about it.
Honestly, that's the weird thing because when I started reading the manga, like I didn't find anything confusing. Like I thought everything was like it was explained pretty damn
No,
well.
I tried to understand it, but I don't understand.
Like with the hairpins, with the
she got it,
with the
and then she did
hairpins.
someone else, and then it's like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
So with the hairpins, it was more to do with the soldier because they're soldiers and like the soldiers give you one of the girls the hairpin to say like, hey, I like you sort of thing. And then there's also the fact you've got like the concubines who also have hairpins. So pretty much depending on what type of hairpin it is, like it tells like the soldiers, oh, you're part of that concubine's court, or you're part of that concubine's court, sort of thing. And again, that's also kind of political as well because you got concubines that don't like the other concubine and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's not that confusing when you think about it. Maybe in the anime they didn't really explain it that well, but I thought in the manga, it was explained a bit better. But I honestly think this is one of the best adaptations I've seen in recent memory of them. Like in this case, they're not skipping anything. Everything that was in the manga, they've adapted. So there's literally nothing has been skipped, and that is a rare thing for a 24 course show, because usually, even with 24 course shows, they will skip stuff that they think is unimportant. But from what I can see so far, they've adapted like every chapter that has that so far. That so literally from chapter 1 to chapter whichever one it is that they're going to stop at, it's all been adapted.
If we're gonna I think one reason also why I couldn't get into it as much as I could is because it's probably has to do with the history that they're trying to describe here is probably something that I'm not well read on. So maybe that's why I'm also very confused with, for example,
that's the thing. I don't know if it was in actually earlier episodes, but in the recent episodes, they're even saying like, there's actually a disclaimer at the bottom of the screen saying, everything here is fictional. Don't take it at face value. Like, take it at face value, like all like the medicine and all the story, like the history elements of that is fictional. None of this actually happened. So,
I mean, yes, that's true, but they still must have taken experience from some.
Yeah, there's still
well,
there's still like real life like titles. Like you have like the Empress Dowager, you have the Empress, the Emperor, the eunuchs, the concubines.
Exactly.
So
I understand, Mao Mao didn't exist in real life. But they still have to take experience from, like, for example, ancient China, for example, and maybe that's where we got the knowledge about, for example, the hairpins. But maybe something else was used then, not hairpins, but still. And for me, I didn't feel like I got the explanation actually what the hairpins was for. It was, for me, I was just watching it, and then she get hairpins, and during that time when she got the hairpins, I kind of understood that okay, maybe it's because they like her, they want to show that they own her, etc. The confusing part for me came more afterwards when she decided to give those hairpins away to someone else to get out of the village. Then that's when
with that, I can explain that. So, to get out of the out of the court and out of that, like the inner, because she was in the inner sanctum of the court. There's essentially two courts. There's the inner court and the outer court, and then there's the village outside it, or the town, I should say, outside it. So, only way she can get to go visit her adopted father is to give a hairpin to this soldier to pretty much say, look, can you do me a favor? I've given you the hairpin. Can you help me like get out of the court, and so I can visit the outer town, because the only way that they can get out of the court is through the hairpins.
Right. So basically, they're also some kind of currency then, because that's
pretty much.
That's what I was confusing about, because it felt like the hairpins had different purposes, not one specific purpose. They were used for different things. That's what confused me.
That's what I meant. Like with the hairpins, how there was different ones for each concubine. Each one signifies something else. So I can see why. Okay, I can see why you were confused, but it does make sense. That's why she gave it to that particular soldier, because it was the only way for her to get out of the court and visit her adopted father and to spend some time at home.
Yeah. Maybe I was
being, kidnapped.
The story too much.
Yeah, this is another one that you probably shouldn't overthink it, but it's more like think about some take it as it comes, and to just enjoy it for what it is, and just enjoy it for the story rather than the history aspect of it, because it's pretty much all fiction, except for of course the titles, but you have to grab something from history, otherwise it doesn't work. But everything that all the things that the characters do in the story is fictional, so obviously. But yeah, I personally, as I just said, love the Apothecary Diaries. I I think it's got some good mystery in it, and there's some really great drama there too, especially in the more recent episodes, because with Mao Mao, she was adopted by her adopted father, who was part of the court. He was. I'm going to mix it up of who he is. He was a doctor that fucked up, essentially, in terms of helping someone give birth.
Yeah.
And he pretty much lost his manhood because of it. And so he was kicked out of the court and out of the palace. And then, I don't know the exact story of how he adopted Mao Mao, because I don't actually reached that part in the manga. And I don't know if the anime is going to cover it.
I don't think it has covered it yet.
Yeah. But it has, we now have been introduced in the later episodes, been introduced to a real father who is a nasty piece of work. And that is a Larkin. And that's where the drama really takes off, and especially the latest episode. Who here has watched the latest episode?
I have. I'm pretty much all caught up.
Yeah, all caught up. Okay, so because of what happened there, that's around the area, in fact, I think, where I stopped with the manga. I think I read a little bit after that and then stopped. So I'm actually kind of excited, because in the next couple of episodes I'm going to be going in blind. And because so far, obviously, I have known exactly what was going to happen, and I've been eager seeing, because also, when you read a manga and you see it adapted, you also get that excitement of seeing the pages adapted, so you can get to see how it works in animation. So that's another thing that I'm loving about this, is actually seeing the cast move, the characters actually talking and all that. It's just great. But anyway,
maybe I will actually pick it back up again.
I would recommend picking it up again and just catch up with the second course, the second arc, because the story
also,
is now.
I also missed the fact that Maoma was adopted, actually, which I think I guess if they introduce her real parents, that would actually be something that I could relate to more, since I'm also adopted. So I think that's going to help me a lot with this.
Well, maybe in that case, I would actually recommend this is probably a bit mean to say, but maybe start it from episode 1 again, and work your way up again, and just maybe pay a little bit more attention. Again, I don't mean that like I don't please.
No,
I don't mean to be like rude or mean about saying that, but like it is one of those shows where it's weird in which like you have to actually pay attention to what's going on, and at the same time you don't really think you need to. But yeah, it's pretty much said like outright that I think even in the first episode that Mao Mao is adopted. So
Yeah,
I
think
must admit
I
that.
think Anapo dropped the episodes to show like before that it got to that point, before that was revealed.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll see if I can catch up to it eventually, because when you start talking about it now, it looks like when I dropped it, that's when the interesting parts happen. So we'll see. I'm open-minded to pick it back up again at least.
without really spoiling it too much, pretty much consider the first arc, like the first core, Mao Mao in the inner court, and then in the second arc, in the second core, it's Mao Mao in the outer court. So there's a big difference between the two. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I've spoken enough about the Apothecary Diaries. You can definitely tell how much I adore this show. So
Oh,
To
yeah.
be fair, you haven't had much to other anime shows to speak about,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
might as well
Yeah.
compensate it this way.
yeah. And also the fact that come on, with Mao Mao, the voice actress is the
Aoyuki.
gorgeous,
Kawaii.
Aoi Yuki. And I love pretty much everything that she's in, so that I've watched anyway. Because I, of course, know her from Symphogear. So because she's in that, I believe.
Oh.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, is it the one I'm thinking of, or is
Yeah.
this a different chick?
She's in a lot of other works.
Yeah, she's in a lot of things. Pretty sure it's her. She's the one that was in. Where is it? Yeah, she's in everything. So
Actually, Mao Mao as a character is actually one of the few shows from the beginning I actually did enjoy. I think she's a good character.
For me, before I go into my thoughts about the latest episodes, I do want to reiterate some of my thoughts that I mentioned back in the last podcast, that I know Oliver wasn't here. For me, I really enjoy this show, and that's because, well, first of all, as we already touched upon, Mao Mao, she's absolutely great. Yuki did a fantastic job of voicing her, and I just love how like expressive she is, because they did a really good job at like making her like just this absolute fanatical gremlin when it comes to like herbs and medicine and all that. Like, and all the times that she ends up being like a cat.
that I was going to bring that up because whenever I see that in both the anime and the manga, it just makes me immediately think of Comey from Comey Can't Communicate.
And I believe,
So-
I could definitely see that. And also, I think the reason why there's so many like cat jokes surrounding her is because Mao is actually Chinese for cat. So there's that as well. Also, it's not just when she gets like fanatical. Like, it's not like just the funny moments either. When it comes to the serious moments, like when Mao Mao has to get like serious, like that.
When she did the
also
slap
shines
though
well.
in that
the slap
episode.
when she gives one of the caregivers the
Yes.
slap of God during like around episode 2. That was just great.
And this is one of those shows where they technically have fan service without actually it being fan service because of the outfits.
That's true. In fact, like that's one thing I would have to touch up upon, is that like there's a lot of sexual humor, but it's not played in like a fan service type of way. But that's mainly because Mao Mao grew up in a brothel, and you can imagine she's seen a lot of stuff. So
And heard a lot of
obviously-
stuff. So-
Exactly. In fact,
especially when she tells that she whispers to the concubine about how to impress the emperor again,
using her assets. Yeah, that was just great. Also, I want to even one of the scenes during the most recent episodes, which I will touch upon later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Mao as a character. I also like her. Also, I do think she has some pretty good chemistry with Jinshi as well. I do like Jinshi as a character as well, and like how, I guess like immature and a bit childish she can act sometimes. You can sometimes act like a man child.
100%.
Which in real life can be a big turnoff, but it's endearing here.
Yeah,
Also,
it works well with his character.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I like the setting. Also, the production value. I remember during the first like few episodes, I remember there being a lot of like really visually appealing and like really nice looking moments as well. Especially like the scenes during like the night sky, as well as some of the scenes that show like the flowers, the many different plants blooming around the palace. So yeah, I thought that they did a really good job with that as well.
And what's more is like they don't half-ass anything as well. So like when you like even if you see characters walking in the background, they're actually walking. They're not like walking on, and the fact they're not even walking on the spot. They literally are walking.
Exactly.
This is one of those shows where like nothing is half-assed, which is even better.
There's a lot of weight and life to their motions. But yeah, I think that was. Let's see. I think that was pretty much all I can remember saying about the last. When it came to the last podcast. Now, their most recent episodes. Now, what's interesting is that many consider the latest episode, because I think we were as at the time we were recording this, the most recent episode was I believe like episode. What was it, like 20 or like
19?
19.
19
okay.
is yeah.
So yeah, episode 19. A lot of people consider that. I know Ryu does as well. Considers that to be like the peak, where this series really reached its peak, like the best episode so far, which is interesting to me because I thought the episode. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's the best so far. It's definitely where the episode where shit really hit the fan, considering the fact that Jinshi. Oh wait, should I even spoil this? I mean, because
no, we probably shouldn't.
I've already seen the picture of her punched face. So I guess it's something related to that.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah. It's not really. It wasn't much punch. It was more.
It was
slap.
a bit worse than that. It was a bit worse than a punch.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say.
Yeah.
I probably should spoil it, but let's just say like there's something very major happened with Jinshi and all that. So we saw Mao like putting the pieces together, which was really interesting as well. That's another thing I want to touch upon, the mystery aspect as well. There's some great mystery aspect as well. Lots of great also world building when it came, as we already touched upon, the world building when it comes to the ancient China, the setting in ancient China. And we saw Mao many times basically being a detective. Because she solved like a lot of mysteries and she's very good at it. She's surprisingly good at it for being just an apothecary. And we especially saw that during the latest episode as well.
Again, I have a feeling the reason for that, why she's such a good detective, is one, because she's a apothecary, and two, because of the growing up in the brothels. So that's my reasoning behind it.
That's true. Also, what was that?
Sorry, no, it's all right.
Also, one thing I want to talk about is the one scene, I think like a couple episodes ago, the jump scare with Mao when Jinshi mentioned Lakan, the way that was done, the way like there was no music and like no sound effects whatsoever except from that brief glimpse of Mao's absolute death stare. Like that was just so, like it was so well done in the fact that it was very unnerving. Like it really catches you by surprise. Like I I mentioned this during in Memories Discord, but I would even go so far as to say that jump scare in that episode is more unnerving and probably scarier than 95% of horror anime out there. I mean, because that's just how well it was done. That's how good the jump scare was. Like, it was genuinely unnerving. It genuinely startles you.
It definitely puts Jinchi on edge too. Like, now he knows.
Yeah, he knows how much Mama absolutely despises the very thought of Lakan.
And again, with their conversation, Jinchi and Mao Mao's conversation about, about Larkin as well. You know, that when Jinchi is trying to ascertain like what happens in like the brothel.
Yeah, like
how
to devalue a concubine
that's it. And that's like how Mao just like is like dead face, like what's it called, like this, what's the word, I can't think of the term, like it's like deadpan, is it deadpan?
No, like more like kind of like death stare, like she's furious almost.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like, yeah, and when she says, like, I won't say it because you guys need to catch up with it, or some of you do, but yeah, that, because that was the end of that particular episode. It's like she says it, and it's just like this ends on Jinchi's face, just going, "Oh shit!"
Like he really put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that? Oh yeah, the comedic moment I wanted to talk about. I said I wanted to talk about earlier was that one scene where Mama had a meeting with the concubines, and she was just teaching about all the sex stuff, and you see Lishu just being absolutely corrupted. In fact, that was the first. That was also the first episode where we saw the new concubine, which I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen much of yet. Yeah. So I'm still
even I don't really know much about. I don't really know much about her either, because I didn't really get to that point in the manga. But yeah, and the fact that like in that particular scene, like you can see like some like the more experienced ladies like just smiling and just like going, yeah, all right, we know what you're talking about. We can definitely do this.
Yeah, like each it really shows like each girl's personality type. Lady Gokyo was excited. Oh my god, her name is escaping me. The one that wears blue, the one with the big assets. She was taking it all in. Li Shu was just absolutely corrupted, and like she just didn't want to hear any of it. And then the new girl was like, yeah, whatever.
The new girl was just like bored of it. It's just like
pretty much.
Okay.
But yeah, like during the second core, there's already a lot of good stuff going on, and now that after the I guess it really was like the turning point that was the latest episode. I'm definitely interested in seeing where it goes, because Mao Mao has been injured, and I know like Lakan and probably Jinshi is not gonna take that very well, and we also saw the whole incident during the ceremony as well, so somebody's gonna have to answer to that. And considering how what the guard treated Mao Mao, like a lot of people are gonna say, I don't know, a lot of people were saying like, oh, this dude's definitely probably gonna be beheaded. This dude's head is gonna be gone with the way how he handled it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely interested in seeing where the series goes from here. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this show so far, just as much as I did during the fall season and the first core.
Yeah, I'm very glad that I actually went and caught up with this one, because, yes, as I said, seeing it animated just brings me so much joy.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, it's just one of my it's probably one of my favorites of both the season and the year so far, from what I've seen. So.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this podcast. So, you guys have any final thoughts, or are we ready to wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to these guys' channels. Follow me on Twitter. Link to those in the description down below. And I will see you guys next time.